I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning, one and all. Welcome to Mornings with Mike Winters. I am he. That would be me, Mike Winters. Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome to it. I know, it feels like a Monday, doesn't it? It does for me. It's a good weekend, everything. It just feels like a Monday. Don't, up and Adam's like, eventually I'll up and Adam. But happy Monday to you. Hope you're having a great day so far. Hope you had a great weekend and are enjoying the hot, because we got a bunch of that coming. We're like full on hot for the next week here at least.
Yes.
What's this? Tomorrow's the real bear.
Oh, no?
Yeah. They're 103 today. 107 tomorrow. 103 Wednesday. 100 Thursday. Friday 99 with a 20% chance of rain. And then looking at the weekend, 99 and sunny on Saturday, 99 and sunny on Sunday. So welcome to summer.
Everyone go out of town this week.
There you go. But yeah, it's going to be a hot one, especially this front part of the week here. So prepare accordingly. Stay indoors, lots of liquids, all that good stuff. So got a full slate for you for today's show. We're going to play some interviews we had on Friday, actually. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we got back-to-back interviews there for you. So we do have a pretty full show today. This hour, here in just a little bit, we're going to play an interview we had Friday with Congresswoman Yvette Harrell. She joined me on the phone for about a good 30 minutes on Friday, talking about Congress and a lot of stuff going on there. So we're going to play that conversation for you here in just a few. Then in the 8 o'clock hour, about 8:15, also on Friday, I had Judge Eileen Reardon join us. She is the 5th Judicial District Judge in Division 1. Her bench is in Eddy County, but she covers Eddy, Lee, and Chavez. She is the current judge, and she's running for election for that. She was actually appointed by the governor January of last year, and is now running for that seat here.
Has to run again.
Yeah, exactly. So we had a great conversation with her. So we'll
not
play
again, just has to run.
Exactly. Retained, I believe, is the term they use in the judges. But yes, we will play that interview for you here in the 8 o'clock hour. And then in the 9 o'clock hour, we'll start the first half of the hour off with the ladies from the Chavez County Health Council as they gear up for the health fair next month here and talk about sponsorships and things. We'll get an update from her. And then in the bottom half of the hour, we're going to have Elliot Rodriguez join us from Loan Depot and give us an update there as well. The housing world is the housing world now, but if you're looking for a home, he's got ways to help you land it. So we'll talk with him about 9:30 or so. And then we'll have all of your features that include the news of the local and national variety, along with your town hall, Wall Street business updates, and all our other features and whatever else we can come up with for this hour of the show. One thing I want to talk about on the show this week, I have a new favorite baseball team.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
What was your old favorite?
Well, I mean, I'm still a Nationals fan as a Major League Baseball team goes. I mean, I don't follow closely like other fans do. But, yeah, if someone said, who's your favorite baseball team? I'm going to say the Washington Nationals. However, there is a new it's not new, but there's a minor league team that I've just learned about over the weekend, and I've done like all kinds of like watching of videos and stuff about this team, and I kind of dig it. So at some point I gotta talk about them. So, but yeah, I saw a whole thing on the Savannah Bananas.
Oh.
They are a minor league baseball team out of Savannah, Georgia. They play out of Grayson Stadium, which is a historic stadium there in Carolinas that feature like Babe Ruth and Lou Gehrig and all kinds of famous players. But yeah, the Savannah Bananas play there in Savannah, Georgia. I'm sorry, not Carolinas, but I meant Georgia.
Do they have a logo?
Yeah, they have a whole team. They went from being like the worst team in baseball to like the best and most like richest. Like they've done a whole thing. And I'll tell you guys about it sometime. Probably not today, but maybe tomorrow we'll talk about it. I'm all in on this. I want to get a.
What do you like the most about them?
Just the whole. I like everything. I like what the owner did. I just like what they did with baseball, and so I think it's a great idea. So
I was watching a video about baseball. About like baseball has a baseball problem, essentially, and like.
Well, maybe they ought to look at the Savannah Bananas as an option. Just saying.
I can't remember the exact number, but it's like 12,000 cows are used to make a year's worth of baseball for the MLB. And it's like, wow.
How many pigs are used to make footballs for football season? So,
I don't know.
But it's really cool. If y'all can't wait, look up Savannah Bananas online and go do your reading and watching. But I'll talk more about it tomorrow when I get a chance to. But it's they're so good what they got going on. I'm tip of the cap to the Savannah Bananas. They're doing their thing, and I think it's just cool. So
it sounds like a movie team or something.
Well, it kind of is. That's what it is, Savannah Bananas. So, but now I follow them online and all that stuff, and I get updates. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I'll talk more about it tomorrow. Because we got to get through these interviews and all that today. So, matter of fact, I better get one going. It is 12 minutes after 7 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a look at that weather, which I already told you, it's just going to be hotter than blazes all week long. So, enjoy that.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have high pressure over the central Rockies and dry air over our area. It'll stay sunny and hot today. Our afternoon high between 100 and 105. Partly cloudy for the overnight hours with low 70s and then even hotter on Tuesday. 105 to 110 on the afternoon high and sunny. We're in the low 100s and fair coming up for Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently, didn't scroll up high enough there, 74 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 45%. Winds are calm at the moment. I wish I had better news, but I don't. Sunny, hot, 103 today. Winds will be out of the southwest 5 to 10 miles per hour. Clear tonight with an overnight low of 73 degrees and south winds 5 to 10. Tuesday, that's going to be our warmest day of the week. Sunny, 107 is what they're calling for a high tomorrow. South winds 5 to 10. Clear tomorrow, or mostly cloudy tomorrow night with an overnight low of 74. Wednesday, sunny, 103 for a high. Southwest winds 5 to 10. Wednesday night, they are mentioning some rain chances. We'll see. 20% chance of rain, mainly before midnight, mostly cloudy and 72. Thursday, partly cloudy, highs right around 100. Thursday night, could see a little bit of rain chances, 20% chance of rain, otherwise mostly cloudy, 75. And then Friday, a 20% chance of rain, sunny, hot, highs right around 100. That 20% chance continues into Friday night with an overnight low of 73. And then sunny and 99 Saturday, sunny and 99 for Sunday. So hot, and who knows? Maybe we'll knock on some wood and get some rain fairies to make a little rain moisture happen out of those days we get chances there. All right, it is 7:14. We're going to get you into your Roswell Livestock Report with Smiley Wooten. We'll take a quick commercial break, and then on the other side of our interview, we had Friday with Congresswoman Yvette Harrell. That's coming up next. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Good morning, this is Smiley Wooten at the Roswell Livestock Auction. A dog days of summer run for today, and fairly light. We expect to sell 650 head, breaking down like this: 100, 125 weighing cows and bulls, 100, 125 pairs bred cows, 400, 450. Calves and yearlings to include 30 to 35 cow-calf pairs, mostly black, white face, red, white face, Angus, and English crossbred cows with Angus calves. These pairs 2 to 7 years old. 40 bred cows. Purdiz Cattle Company, Marfa, Texas. Excellent quality black, white face Angus crosses. These cows are one brand right off the same ranch as raised on. Bred to Angus bulls, 6 to 10 years old. 7 Charolais bulls, Mr. Bill Sims at Hobbs, New Mexico. They are reputation quality commercial Charolais bulls, 16 to 18 months old. Trick and fertility tested, ready to brand them and turn them out. 24 calves, Mr. Jack Blanford, Demi, New Mexico. Excellent quality black Angus cross calves. These calves 2 rounds of Bovishield Gold, 7-way, weaned 60 days, thin condition, 300, 500 pounds. 25 calves, Mr. Wayne Netherland, Artesia. Excellent quality black, white face Angus crosses, 400, 550 pounds. 59 light yearlings, Charlie Ferguson here north of Roswell. Good quality black, white face, red, white face crossbred yearlings. These things are bunk broke. 500, 600 pounds. 18 calves, Rye Ranch, Estancia, New Mexico. Excellent quality black Angus crosses, thin condition, 350, 500 pounds. Sale time this morning will be at 9 o'clock. Sell pairs of bred cows 9:45 to 10. Be selling calves and yearlings about 10:15 to 10:30. It will be a short one today, so don't be late. We expect to sell 650 head. This is Smiley Wooten, Roswell Livestock Auction.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Nissan announces a special vehicle liquidation event. Newly arriving inventory and an overstock on pre-owned vehicles means Roswell Nissan's got to make room. With huge savings on Frontier, Yukon, Ram, and more. Even some 2021s and 22s. And rock bottom back to school savings on Lexus, Chevy, Jeep, and even an Audi A5. If you've been putting it off, now's the time to trade up and save. The vehicle liquidation event on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd. Sometimes when you hit the road hits back. That's why MTA Mechanics and Tire carries major brands like Bridgestone, Cooper, and Michelin. Not only do you get top brand tires, but you also get a nationwide warranty. So wherever you are, MTA Mechanics and Tire has you covered. Stop by or let MTA come to you with their MTA Mobile Tire Shop, covering Roswell, Carlsbad, and Artesia. They can come to your home, office, or even the airport, and alignment is included on all sets of 4 tires. MTA Mechanics and Tires, getting you back on the road. The International UFO Museum and Research Center, alongside 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, wants to thank all of our friends that made the 2022 Ufologist Invasion such a success. A huge thank you to Candlewood Inn and Suites, Roswell Ford, Dion's Pizza, Home 2 Suites, Pepper's Grill and Bar, Rib Crib, Portofino's Italian Restaurant, La Grande Victoria, and Antigua Cocina Mexicana. We would also like to thank Clyde Lewis for bringing his show to Roswell. This year's festival was a huge success thanks to those great partners and the welcoming folks of Roswell. We can't wait to do it all again in 2023.
Martine's Capital Cafe in Roswell offers authentic and highly rated New Mexico food. Explore their amazing menu featuring huevos rancheros or asado with eggs or their green chili stew. And you can't forget their award-winning green chili cheeseburger, all made from scratch using their finest and freshest ingredients. Open for carryout with curbside delivery or limited dine-in. Just call ahead 624-2111. Martine's Capital Cafe, always pleasing the most refined palate. Open Monday through Saturday from 6 a.m. to 8:30 p.m. at 110 West 4th in Roswell.
I have a snake for your drain. You might want to step back.
Oh no, baby.
All AC units moke a little. Is normal.
Oh no, baby.
Haha, now your sprinkler system's strong like bull.
Come on now. Don't let any fool work on your plumbing and air conditioning. Fergalicious. From clogged drains to sprinkler systems, Fergie's Plumbing and Heating is on the job. And who you gonna call for air filters and spring servicing on your AC unit? Fergalicious. Call Fergie's today, 622-2660. Nothing but love. Fergalicious.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The U.S. Treasury once considered producing donut-shaped coins. They instead decided to go with coin-shaped donuts. Here's Mike Winters.
And welcome back to the morning show. And joining us on the phone this morning is Congressional District 2 Representative Yvette Harrell back with us. Good morning. How you doing, ma'am?
I am doing great, and it's good to be back with you again.
Well, it's always a pleasure to talk to you. And, of course, we're coming off what sounds like another busy week on Capitol Hill as far as things they're trying to get through Congress right now.
Oh, of course. You know, here's what people need to know. You know, there's 100 days, 120 days until the election, but we only have about 20 days of actual time in session.
Gotcha.
I mean, this is Nancy Pelosi. She's not going to keep her people here as very often because she wants them out campaigning. But here we are elected to do the people's work. We've got all-time high inflation, all-time high gas prices, a crisis at the border, a president that's flying over to Saudi Arabia to get, you know, ask the prince there to drill more oil when we, of course, have more than enough here.
Yeah.
Selling our reserves, you know, over to China. And yet we're only going to be in session for about 20 more days for the entire rest of this year. Makes no sense, and the American people, and certainly the people of New Mexico, deserve better than this.
You know, I know there's so much to unwrap there, but the whole oil and gas deal right now seems like such a farce to me, because I don't know why people aren't saying this. But yeah, like you said, the president's now over in the other part of the world trying to get gas, get people to pump more gas. And he shut down the pipeline here right before all this went down.
Right.
We have, and then you and I talked about this last time. For the folks that are green and saying, you know, we need to go to ulterior sources and all that, I understand what you're saying, but right now we still need oil and gas just as much as we did yesterday. And
that's right.
The place we could get it from that would be better for everyone, cleaner and more affordable, and put more jobs and money into our economy. The one way to fix all of that is by doing it here, as opposed to go stumping in Saudi Arabia and these other places saying make more oil. And I don't understand why that's not being screamed from the rooftops. You know, it gets so lost in the, it's Russia's fault, it's this fault that the gas prices. I'm like, no, I said this was going on before Russia even walked into Ukraine. You know, that's
exactly right. Yeah, and you're right, but I think people are starting to figure it out. I did a town hall in the district last night, and I tell you what, almost the entire hour-long questions was about energy and why this president is going to Saudi Arabia, and people are understanding the value of having American-made energy, the importance of national security because of our energy independence, which we had, you know, just 2 short years ago. Now we don't. And it's frightening. But here's something that you and I've talked about a couple of times, but not everybody's talking about. This energy crisis, and it really is becoming a crisis, is going to be the root cause of what we see in terms of food shortages and scarcity and cost of food going way up. We'll see that probably in the fall and the spring, because you have to understand the normal amount of product that we would see in the ground as far as our farmers go, it's just not there this year. I talked to a seed company who said that their sales for this year are down 40 to 60% from normal. And it's because of the regulation, the high cost of fuel, you know, diesel, pesticides, the commodities market, you know, it's volatile. People just don't know. And then again, supply chain, the truckers getting food to market, lack of workforce. I mean, all of these things, this president should be, if he wants to talk oil and gas, he should be flying his plane right down to, you know, Roswell or Hobbs or, you know, Eddy County, and talking to the folks that are actually drilling the oil and having to be, hamstrung by his policies that are so detrimental. I mean, we've got so many natural resources here, and like you just said, we can produce it cleaner and more affordably than anybody. And if we really want to do it right for the American people, we get our energy independence back, and that's the best thing we can do for our allies and neighbors around the world.
Sure.
Is to be able to produce energy for them. But it makes it's a head scratcher. And this is what's so frustrating, especially from my perspective, looking at all of these challenges that have been brought on by this administration, this one-party rule, and he can fix this stuff. He could secure the border. He could start pushing the price of gas down by simply looking at some of the policies, the packages we've introduced, the permitting, start streamlining that, take away some of the regulations, bringing stability back to the energy market, you know, for these huge investments. Yet he doesn't do any of this. It's America second and everybody else first. And that, I think, is the biggest crime in this entire situation. We seem to have somebody in the Oval Office who cares less about the American people and the consequences of his actions, whether it's signed bills or executive orders, than he does about, his policies and his politics. And that's what's unfortunate about all of this.
Yeah, it is. It's sad. And this is why this year in November is so important. And hopefully people are like you said, when we kind of started this question, is people are starting to wake up to it. And I hope the more continue to do so. So.
Right. I hope they do too, for sure.
I do want to, we were talking just before we actually started interviewing here. I want you to, if you don't mind, explain to the public some of these abortion bills that you're seeing in the House right now that are more than likely going to pass the House here, and just talk about like some of the stuff that they've put in these bills. It's probably going to alarm a lot of people.
It really is. It's sad. And just late last week, this was the Democrat answer for the Supreme Court's Roe v. Wade decision.
Mm-hmm.
And, there was such an outcry. But here's what's unfortunate. I mean, even people who are pro-choice, identify themselves as being pro-choice, do not favor an abortion in the third trimester, and certainly not on the day of birth.
Yes.
And like you and I've said before, that's more like murder.
That's a human being.
What we should be doing is exactly. And what we should be doing is working with these women, making sure they have the resources, the support groups, the opportunities to make different decisions, especially if they find themselves in an unwanted or unplanned pregnancy. But this is how extreme this is. And these bills passed the House late last week, and this is how it is. One of the bills will actually, it's called Abortion on Demand Until Birth Act, and this will actually legalize abortion up to birth in every single state.
Mm-hmm.
So this is their answer to Roe v. Wade. But here's the sad thing. It puts us in the exact same category as North Korea and China.
Wow.
In terms of extreme abortion laws. That is not what we should be focusing on. It is so sad to me that in the midst of all of these crises that we're not thinking about ways we can help these women, help with these choices that they have to make and bring more stability. But these bills did not even have a committee hearing. But here's the other one that's just as bad or worse. It's called Ensuring Access for Abortion. But this is what happens with this. It allows people, so if you're a sex trafficker, let's just say, you can now take a 13-year-old girl across state lines for an abortion with no parental notification, or you may have this person you're trafficking so nobody even knows who you are as far as, a sponsor or an adult. But here's the thing. It undermines parental consent for minors, like I'm saying, to travel. But here's the problem. Now, with this bill, if a social worker or school worker or even a doctor or a physician's assistant, they think that there could be some sex trafficking or some drug or some abuse going on here, sexual abuse going on. If those people decide to sound the alarm and say, wait a minute, we have questions about this, they can be in trouble for hindering the abortion process.
Wow.
We have absolutely lost our moral ground on this, and I am just amazed that these bills would get through. And party line votes, in fact, one of them actually had 3 Republicans vote in favor of it, which I'm very sad to know that, because I just think that we need to be thinking, more. I mean, the abortion on demand until birth, it allows for discriminatory abortions, meaning you can get an abortion because you want a girl and your baby you find out's a boy, or if there's any other disability like Down syndrome. I mean, it is so sick that this is the society that we've become, that these are the kind of bills that we're going to pass, and then to put ourselves in the same category as North Korea and China, to me that makes no sense. And I thought America would hold itself to a much higher standard than that, especially when it comes to life.
Yeah. I kind of, and this is, I guess, my opinion, what I think most people think, and this may be wrong or maybe spot on, I don't know, but just what I think. When we talk about this issue and things, I think where most Americans, obviously Republicans pro-life, Democrats pro-choice, that's kind of the generic label to stick here. But I think in reality, what many Americans probably say is like, abortion is something I would never do for myself, things like that there's other options in my life that I would make sure happen. And so I don't think abortion's a good thing.
But at the same time, they don't want it so where a 10-year-old girl that's been raped can't get an abortion. You know what I mean? Where it's like something like that. I think in this country we can come to a consensus saying, a person that's in their third or second trimester should not be having abortions. But at the same time, we should not deny a 10-year-old rape victim the ability to get one. You know what I mean? There's got to be some common ground, and I think that's where most Americans lie in their opinion on this. Personally, I think I could be way off, but
I think you're right, and I think one thing that we've always talked about is exemptions for the health of the mother. There have been some exemptions that have always been in consideration, but a bill that is so extreme like this ensuring access, it really undermines the health and safety of women by overriding, majority of the states that have determined, the safest way for doctors to prescribe pills for chemical abortion. I mean, it's really eliminating medical supervision, and it puts the women and minors at increased risk, like you're just talking about.
Yeah.
And it's just unfortunate that we would become so extreme, that we would be so upset. And Roe v. Wade, in my opinion, was the right decision in terms of let's let the states decide. Let the state legislative bodies who are closer to the people, who represent the people, make the decisions that work for their state. And instead, over the last 2.5 weeks, we've heard so many things that are so misleading. This is going to now make it where women are going to be jailed, and they're going to, it's all this crazy stuff. And then simply put, all they did was say, you know what? It should be a decision made by the states.
Yeah.
And then whatever state legislative branch, whatever they come up with, that's what goes in their state. But this is so extreme. I think this was the wrong way to answer the call. But here's the truth, Mike. They don't have an answer for the economy, for the inflation, for the high prices at the pump, for the open border, for the supply chain. I could go on and on. They don't have a plan for that.
Yeah.
So this is what they're going to do to try to, appease the base. And I just think this is not the right thing to do at this point in time.
Yeah, that's something I think we the citizen need to educate ourselves better. When we come into scenarios like this, this is political move 101. It's when you don't have an answer to the problem people are thinking about or concerned about, mostly, then they'll say, well, what about this, this, and this? And then they'll get you mad on that, so you won't go back to the person that's actually trying to fix the problem that you really – that's in essence what's going on here is most people are screaming, why is gas prices $5 a gallon? Why is I can't get this, I can't do that? And, we'll fix that, don't worry. But they're going to take away your right to abortion. You know what I mean? That's the move they're doing now, and – you've got to get smart about that and understand that's what's going on. And so if you're not happy with the way things are going, I don't care what they're trying to throw at you now. If you want that fixed, you're going to have to change the people that are making the decisions right now.
That's exactly right. I mean, and the sad thing about all this, and I hope it changes in November, there have been so many good bills introduced that have not gotten any traction in Washington. And I want everybody to remember it's because Nancy Pelosi controls what is happening on the House floor. I mean, that's why these two crazy abortion bills went straight to the floor. No committee review, no public hearing, no nothing. I mean, this is not governance, in my opinion. This is not what America is made of. This is not what our Constitution is about. This is not what our government should be doing, to just sneak these things through. And like you say, we've got record high everything, all the costs to the American people. But, by the way, but now you can get an abortion anywhere you want, anytime you want, assuming this gets through the Senate and signed by the president, of course. But it's just a shell game, and instead of taking the bull by the horns, addressing the true problems that every single American is facing, the, crime rates, fentanyl overdoses, and here's what's sad. We don't even hear them talk about the, 10-year-old that was raped the other day by somebody here who was here illegally, who was not sent back to his country. They don't talk about the 50 people that died in that tractor trailer, a horrendous death. I can't even imagine. We're not going to talk about any of that, and a lot of these, I don't know the exact number. We're working on getting it, but a lot of these overdoses on fentanyl, these aren't drug addicts. These are one-offs. These are teenage kids experimenting with drugs for the first time or going on spring break. I mean, you've seen the news articles.
Sure.
But they're not, every single neighborhood, every single family now is at risk of this entire fentanyl crisis. And we don't talk about it. They don't want to fix that. And it just is, I'm thinking, what happens to America? What are we doing to our country? But I think we've really, I think it's crumbling in the sense that we've lost our moral stability here. And I've said this before, some of these bills that have come through the House have been truly, government versus God. And I just know at the end of the day who's going to win on that one.
Yeah.
But that's what we continue to see over and over and over. And just like these bills. And again, polls show that even the people that think they're pro-life or agree that women should have a choice, they stop short of saying all the way to birth. Third trimester is getting a little tough for some people to agree with, unless sometimes there are those very extreme cases where the health of the mother is at risk. But to just say, hey, if you don't like the sex of your baby, if your baby may have Down syndrome, if you it just makes zero sense at all. I think that we've gone such an extreme manner, and hopefully the voters are paying attention and they're seeing what's happening here in Washington and just looking at the moral fabric of our country.
In your opinion, is what's going on now with, like you said, there's 20 some days left in the session here. And like you said, Nancy Pelosi wants her people out on the campaign trail, so they're not going to stay later than need be. Is this all
Correct.
Part of the tactics where they do you think in their head they're going to lose the House in November? And
I think
they're trying to get as much
concern.
done between now and then. I mean, is that do you think that's a strategy, or do you think it's something more?
I think there's concern that they know that they're at risk of losing the majority. Just because you can see on the news now, a lot of candidates that are running for, say, U.S. Senate seats and so forth are really inching away from President Biden. And now Democrats, by and large, are starting to say, hold on, we don't know if we want this guy running in 2024. So they're certainly starting to put some distance between themselves and the administration. In fact, I know of two Democrat Senate candidates, I think one in Arizona, one in Ohio, that the president came to their state. They were like, we're sorry, got a double booking, can't make your, so they're putting some major distance because they know. But I think they can also see, the polling, the generic polling of what's happening. I think Biden has, a 37% approval rating right now, or maybe it's 38. It might have ticked up just a little bit. But, that's people are watching this, but what's hurting more than anything is the reality of what we live with every day, with the high cost of you name it, and it's a high cost attached to it now. And this is by and large because of their policies. The blame game's not working. People have caught on that these things started happening way before, like you said, Putin. It was COVID, it was Putin, it was Trump, it was, the oil producers. Well, then now it's the gas station owners. It's everybody's fault but President Biden. And simply all he has to do is engage with our energy producers. And again, even the environmentalists should be looking at this thinking, why would we have a country who has no regulatory, environmental regulations in play? Why would we ask them to produce more
Yeah.
than, none of this makes sense. And you've got, I think, a pretty small group of people with the loudest voices
That's
that are just trying to drive the train. But the reality is starting to really seep into those that are living it, paying for it. And as we saw a small little downturn in the price of fuel, but economists and reports that I'm seeing here in D.C. are saying that that's going to tick back up. I had, in fact, on the call last night, people were very angry and upset that this president is selling oil from our strategic oil reserve to China.
Yeah.
That just, people are angry about it.
4 votes,
They're starting
basically.
to catch on.
4 votes,
Yeah,
basically.
Exactly. And so I think that we should be having to answer tough questions. I think there should be more transparency. I think this administration should be held accountable. And by the way, nobody's talking about Afghanistan, and we still have Americans that are not all the way out of there yet. That was still a crisis, but we look weak on a national, global scale. We just don't have the leadership that I think it takes to run this country in a way keeps us in a position of being able to, deliberetely bargain and look at trade agreements and push for a global economy and push our GDP up and really send that message of dominance. And we've always been a country of giving, we're just such a great country when it comes to humanitarian and everything else, but we're letting it all slide by the wayside. I mean, how is it that we'll let over 2 million people into this country illegally by the end of this fiscal year? It makes zero sense.
Yeah.
And the cost, and here's something I want to bring up that I heard this just late last week. The man camps, some of them over in West Texas for the oil and gas operations. I just saw a report last Friday that said that DHS is now wanting to rent those for $700 a night.
Oh, wow.
For immigrants.
So they're going to get some more. They're going to start putting them there. Now, are those man camps full already, or full of oil workers? Or that's going to be an interesting mix.
That's it. I mean, they're for the oil workers, and of course we have those down in the southeastern part of the state.
Yeah.
And there was some concern early last year about turning those man camps into migrant camps. But I mean, this is where people need to understand. When we hear that kind of a price, $700 a night, and that was on Fox News Friday morning, that's our money. That's your money.
You're
that's
right.
my money. And all this inflation is a tax on the American people. That's all it is. And in fact, an example that most people can kind of track with is, I don't know the exact number, like 8.2%. That is essentially 1/12 of your income. And now, with the inflation being over 9%, we're actually working 1 month for free. So any income that you would make for one whole month in your years-long employment is absolutely for naught because of the inflation, the cost of goods, services, fuel, everything.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
It is very crazy.
So when you think about it, in fact, when I heard that this morning, I was at a meeting with Leader McCarthy and some others, and when I heard that, my first thought was, well, heck, then we should be getting a little bit of a tax break if we're going to be working for free for 1 month. But I mean, so it's crazy what is happening up here, and I'm just hopeful that people are paying attention, because right now it's not about Republican or Democrat, red or white. It's red, white, and blue. It's this country that's at stake. It's our national security. It's the way we navigate over the next number of months, and hopefully we do need to take the majority so that when we can act as a backstop for some of these policies. For instance, these abortion bills would never have been brought up if the Republicans had the majority, but what would be being brought up is, let's bring some stability to our marketplaces. Let's get the supply chain moving. Let's drive the cost of fuel down. Let's ensure that we don't run into food shortages next year. Let's get our energy independence going, because the demand for energy, and you and I talked about it, it's not going away.
Nope.
And we need our fossil fuels and our minerals in order to get to the place they want to be in terms of all green.
Yeah. And
go ahead.
I was saying, I hate to burst everyone's bubbles, but we're not there electrically yet to replace oil and gas. It's not even remotely close. And until that's even in the conversation, you can't talk about scaling back oil and gas.
Well, and here's what I think people might start. Some people, not all, because it's, but back in like the late 70s, 80s, Europe wanted to try to go all green and try this new stuff. Well, it backfired, and the cost of their energy portfolio just went through the roof. Mm-hmm. And the very people they were trying to help and do all this new green and all this different stuff, it actually backfired and cost their people more. So energy prices, of course, went through the roof. That's exactly what's happening here. And even everybody will tell you we're just not there yet. I mean, the technology is not there, and the infrastructure, we just don't even have the infrastructure. But if we're going to be talking about it and developing it, I also think then part of that dialogue should be disposal.
Yeah.
If we're going to have lithium batteries, if we're going to have these windmills, if we're going to do all this stuff, then let's not just create problems for people to deal with 30 years from now, 20 years from now. Let's talk about the disposal plan as we move through this development of green energy. And you and I both know, I'm all of the above, but I'm also a realist in terms of what we use our fossil fuels for every single day.
I'm going to give a piece of advice to green people, just real quick. We are in capitalism. Embrace that as as a capitalist. If you're a green person, capitalism is your friend. You want to be more green? Start investing and getting and promoting businesses financially and otherwise that go in that direction. And that's how the market changes. When you've got competition and there's companies creating technology and they're competing against each other, you're going to find out that innovation and all that stuff's going to happen a lot quicker. And so if you really want to speed society into going green, then you need to invest in those areas as a private citizen and support. You got Tesla. Well, if you have 12 Teslas, then guess what? The Teslas are going to compete against each other to make a better Tesla for you. And the technology gets better, everything gets better. And that's how it works in a capitalist society. If you want better, then you invest that money into those and make it more affordable and better to drive your car full of electricity instead of gas. And that's how it's going to succeed. Until people realize that, we're going to keep doing what we're doing,
Right. Just keep spinning our wheels. And I would submit to you that the technology and the development and research that's coming out of our energy sector, incredible, and they continue to develop and create cleaner fuels and less carbons. And, it's incredible, the science behind this. So it's not as if you've got industries that are just, we don't care about the environment, we're going to pollute. They're not. In fact,
right.
We've cut our carbon emissions less than, nobody wants to talk the facts. They just want to vilify and weaponize these industries that are vital to everybody. But I haven't, it's just like in New Mexico, you saw the article the other day, the oil and gas, is putting so much money into the coffers this year. It's just crazy. But I don't hear one person in Santa Fe saying, well, I'm not going to spend it. That's dirty money.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
We're not going to use it.
I'll take
Nobody's
it.
saying that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sure those producers and the folks down in Eddy and Lee and Chavez County would love to keep those dollars down in their own counties.
Absolutely. Well, I know. I think I need to let you go. I know you've got. I think you got more votes and stuff this afternoon, or.
No, we're done. We got done with votes.
Oh, good.
So it's just, so it's always that's exactly right. When we're not on the floor, you're safe. But it'll be curious to see what they come up with next, because it's just sound the alarm, knee-jerk reaction, trying to appease the base without actually really coming up with any real solutions that work for the American people. And we've just got to keep pressing in and expose the crazy policies that are impacting our day-to-day lives, and most importantly, the children's lives, our future's lives, and our pocketbooks.
Yep, absolutely. That's why November's so important. So
that's right.
Well, thank you as always for the visit. We do appreciate it, and we look forward to our next one. One of these days, we're going to come in and be like, guess what? We made a victory here, but hopefully before November, but I'm not very optimistic.
I hope you're right, for sure. But with Nancy Pelosi having the control over everything that happens on the House floor, I mean, here's the thing. She's running for re-election. She probably wins. But if the Republicans take the majority, I believe, and I'm pretty sure she will retire. And if that doesn't motivate you to want to get out and vote, I don't know what would.
Absolutely.
We've got to fire Nancy Pelosi. We've got to bring some sense back to common, which would be common sense. But we have got to have somebody in leadership that understands just how bad these policies are hurting the American people, and start working for those who trusted us enough to be there. And I'm just so grateful to be that voice for the 2nd Congressional District. And I would love to keep doing that, just ensuring that we're talking oil and gas and border and the things that matter to New Mexico.
Yes, get us back to some balance. We do appreciate it.
You bet.
Well, thank you for what you're doing. I know it feels like you're fighting against a wall against you every day in Congress, I'm sure, but we do appreciate you representing the people of Southeast New Mexico. We do appreciate that. Or all of South New Mexico, actually. I didn't give you enough credit. More.
Well, it's just New Mexico, and I'm happy to do it and feel so honored and blessed to be there. And I just thank you for the opportunity to visit like this, because people need to hear the truth of what's happening in Washington.
Yeah. There's so much going on that once you hear all the details, you probably, I think once people hear all the details about everything that goes on, I think we'll find that more of us are in agreement than disagreement. I think.
That's right.
I think if people truly saw everything,
I agree with that. I actually believe that, forget the party, I think people in general just have more things that they are concerned about as a whole, whether it's pricing or whether it's their business, small business, workforce, a lack of workforce, the cost of doing business. I think there are more commonalities, concern for drugs or the uptick in crime or even the education system. These are all things that I don't think you label that, Democrat or Republican. I think these are concerns that I think we can all find that we have in common. And when we have that going for us, then solutions should come more easily. But up here, it's just so divisive that there's no traction, no appetite to come together on some of these issues.
Yep. America first. That's the mindset we all
That's right.
need. Yep.
That's right.
Thank you, ma'am, as always, and we'll talk to you next time, okay?
Sounds great. Okay, you have a great...
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Cirillo. Thanks for joining us this hour. We have a traffic alert for you in Roswell. Work starts today on the second and last phase of the Atkinson Avenue reconstruction project. That means North Atkinson will be closed between 4th and Cherry Streets. Accommodations will be made for local traffic only. The contractor will complete water line replacements and reconstruction of the roadway. That project isn't scheduled to be done until October. A ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled in Carlsbad for a new senior center. The Alejandro Ruiz Senior Center celebration will be August 26th at 120 Kircher Street. Right now, the city is in the process of moving from the San Jose Senior Center to the new location. Ruiz is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient who was born in Loving and enlisted in the U.S. Army in Carlsbad at the start of World War II. You're up to date. I'm Jared Cirillo reporting.
When you're looking for a great hotel, a restaurant, a new job, a veterinarian or dentist, car repairs, or any other company or service, here's why you should never trust online reviews. I'm Kim Commando, brought to you by CarShield. Protect your car from expensive repairs. Visit carshield.com/Kim and save 10%. Deductible may apply. Online reviews of stores, services, and products are useless and sometimes even dangerous because they're so easily faked. These phony online reviews are so prevalent that the Federal Trade Commission is ready to punish any business that allows them with fines of more than $40,000 for every fake review. Knowing which review is fake is nearly impossible to tell, but one giveaway is when you see a group of raving reviews suddenly appearing or on the same or very closely spaced dates. The best way to check for any business is still the old-fashioned way. Ask someone you know for a referral personally. I post breaking tech news 24/7 at my website. That's commando.com. I believe home should be the safest place on earth for every family. That's why I use and recommend Simply Safe. Simply Safe is advanced whole home security that puts you, your home, and your family's safety first. Simply Safe offers comprehensive protection not only against intruders and burglary, but against expensive home hazards from flooding to fires. With 24/7 professional monitoring, Simply Safe's agents take action the moment a threat is detected, dispatching police or first responders in an emergency. Simply Safe uses proprietary video verification technology so that monitoring agents can visually confirm the threat in order to get higher priority 911 dispatch. Monitoring plans are affordably priced at $1 a day with no long-term contract or hidden fees. You can customize the perfect system for your home in just a few minutes at simplysafekim.com. Go today and claim a free indoor security camera plus 20% off with interactive monitoring at simplysafekim.com.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have high pressure over the central Rockies and dry air over our area. It'll stay sunny and hot today. Our afternoon high between 100 and 105. Partly cloudy for the overnight hours with low 70s and then even hotter on Tuesday. 105 to 110 on the afternoon high and sunny. We're in the low 100s and fair coming up for Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Kim Borman. Long lines are back at food banks around the country.
Reeling under the double blow of inflation and soaring gas prices, many people are seeking charitable food for the first time, and more are arriving on foot. Inflation in the U.S. now at a 40-year high, and gas prices have been surging since April of 2020. With the average cost nationwide briefly hitting $5 a gallon in June, the food banks are struggling to meet the latest need, even as federal programs are providing less free food, grocery store donations are down, and cash gifts of any kind don't go nearly as far. Bob Agnew reporting.
Financial leaders of the group of 20 richest and biggest economies have agreed on the need to jointly tackle global ills such as inflation and the food crisis, but have failed to bridge differences over the war in Ukraine. And some drivers have lined up for days, occasionally more than a week, to fill up with diesel fuel in Cuba. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Ken Lorman.
Yup, it's back to school season, and Roswell Honda wants to get you geared up with the 5th annual Back to School Blowout. Stop by Roswell Honda now through July 29th and register your kids to get a backpack chock full of supplies absolutely free. Then on July 30th, join Roswell Honda for the Back to School Bash with lots of free food and fun stuff for the whole family. And that's not all. While you're there, register to win a brand new desk, office chair, and HP laptop. Register now for the Back to School Blowout, July 30th, 10 to 1 at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509.
Bob Reed Pest Control protects you and your home by controlling pests that invade. Bob Reed Pest Control understands the importance of safety in and around your home from unwanted pests. Protect your family's most important investment, your home, and protect your children and pets from the dangers of poisonous bugs and insects. Call Bob Reed Pest Control today and let our fully licensed pest control professionals start working for you and your family. Find us fast in names and numbers. Call 623-5344, serving all of Southeast New Mexico.
Imagine pool water that is extremely soft and gentle on hair, skin, and eyes. Soft Swim is a chlorine-free sanitizing system by BioGuard. Simple and easy, Soft Swim will give you a crystal clear pool that feels luxuriously soft. Your pool might just become the destination of the entire neighborhood. Application is a breeze, no mixing, no pre-dissolving, and routine maintenance is simple. Come to Mays Lumber Company today, the only dealer for Soft Swim by BioGuard.
You can count on Mays Lumber Company.
Sometimes we put off important health needs like surgeries because, well, we worry about the pain and time needed for recovery. Dr. Paul Torres, a board-certified general surgeon, has joined Loveless Healthcare Center and is helping patients in the Roswell area get back to the lives they love with less pain and a faster recovery through advances in minimally invasive surgery. To find out if laparoscopic surgery is the best solution for you, call Loveless and make an appointment today at 575-625-3222.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Due to extreme pressure and weather conditions, it literally rains diamonds on Neptune and Uranus. Stop snickering because I said Uranus. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 7:58. Hey, if you're thinking, I know it's around breakfast time and people thinking, man, I should get some breakfast or had breakfast. Well, I can't help you today, but this Saturday, the Chaves County Joy Center will be having a breakfast fundraiser this Saturday, July 23rd from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. at the Joy Center, 1822 North Montana. Tickets are just $10, and you get a full breakfast of pancakes, sausage, scrambled eggs, and coffee, juice, or tea. If you'd like to pony up $3 more to help out the Joy Center, you can also add some biscuits and gravy and cinnamon rolls, too. So if you got a sweet tooth there, or you're just like, breakfast ain't breakfast without some biscuits and gravy, then they got you covered. But it'll be this Saturday, again, from 8 a.m. to 10 a.m., at the Chaves County Joy Center. If you have any questions and want more information and want to get tickets, call them at 575-623-4866. Again, call the Joy Center at 575-623-4866. and come on out. All right, we're going to get you up to date with news here in just a few seconds, Town Hall News, and then on the other side, we'll be back. And then next hour, we're going to play our interview we had with Judge Eileen Reardon. She was with us Friday. She is the 5th Judicial District Judge in Division 1. And she was appointed about a year and a half ago and is running to be retained here. So we had a great conversation with her. That's next hour. You're listening to 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM, KEND, Roswell, New Mexico.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Scathing criticism of law enforcement, local, state, and federal in a Texas legislative report on the massacre at Robb Elementary School in Uvalde. The report says almost 400 law enforcement personnel on the scene waited more than 1 hour before confronting the gunman. The attacker killed 21 people. An investigation underway into last evening's deadly shooting at a mall in the Indianapolis suburb of Greenwood, Indiana. 3 people killed, 2 others wounded. Greenwood Police Chief Jim Eisen says that while police did arrive on the scene within minutes, the gunman was neutralized by an alert bystander.
It was a very, very fast response, but I'm going to tell you, the real hero of the day is the citizen that was lawfully carrying a firearm in that food court and was able to stop this shooter almost as soon as he began.
The chief tells WRTV the gunman armed with a rifle was killed. Jury selection due to begin today in the contempt trial of former Trump presidential advisor Steve Bannon.
Bannon is charged with criminal contempt of Congress after refusing for months to cooperate with the House committee investigating the January 6, 2021 Capitol riot. He's accused in federal court of defying a committee subpoena, requesting his records and his testimony. Bannon was indicted in November on 2 counts of criminal contempt of Congress, and each count carries 30 days to 1 year behind bars. The 68-year-old Bannon has argued that his testimony is protected by Trump's claim of executive privilege. Donna Warder, Washington.
AAA's latest national average for regular gasoline, $4.52 a gallon. Stocks are rallying on Wall Street this morning. Right now, the Dow is up close to 300 points. The Nasdaq, 154 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Ukrainian President Zelensky has fired the head of the country's security service and its prosecutor general, citing hundreds of criminal proceedings into treason and collaboration by people within their departments.
It's long been assumed Ukraine had a problem with Russian infiltration of its security services. Last night, President Zelensky laid the scale of it bare. He said more than 60 former employees were now working against Ukraine in Russian-occupied areas, and a total of 651 collaboration and treason cases had been opened against law enforcement officials. Questions have already been asked about security failings that led to the rapid fall of the south of Ukraine. President Zelensky has said he will get answers.
The BBC's Joe Inwood. Like vast areas of the U.S. Southwest, parts of northern Mexico suffering a punishing drought, making everyday life challenging for residents, but also, in some cases, threatening their livelihoods. News and analysis at townhall.com. California lawmakers continue tweaking legislation that would hold social media firms liable for addicting youngsters.
A previous version of the measure would have let parents sue social media companies for knowingly using products that harm kids, but a revised version would only allow prosecutors to file those lawsuits. Republican Assembly member Jordan Cunningham says he made the change to make sure the bill has enough votes to pass the state Senate. But social media companies are still opposed, claiming the legislation would violate the company's First Amendment rights. Jason Walker reporting.
Well, tonight's the night. It's Big League Baseball's Home Run Derby taking place at Dodger Stadium. It's where fans get to see just how far and just how fast the sluggers can launch long balls into the twilight in Los Angeles. More on these stories, townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The devil listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 8 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 2.
The Deuce.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday. I know it's not as fun and exciting as to say happy Friday, but happy Monday. Hope you're having a good day and life is treating you pretty good so far. Not a lot of time to turn it around.
A lot of Garfields out there.
There you go. So much lasagna being consumed today that hate Mondays. Well, happy Monday. Hope you're having a good one. Hey, I do want to remind folks that the out at ENMUR, Saturday, July 30th, they're having their Super Kids Splash and Dash event. It's in conjunction with Healthy Kids Chavez County and ENMU Roswell. Summit Food Services as well. They're offering a free race clinic for all youth under the age of 18 at the ENMUR pool, which is located at 20 West Martin, right there on the campus. They're doing, each Saturday leading up to the event, they're doing additional clinics where they'll have coaching and instruction on teaching kids to be ready to do the triathlons and things like that. But on the 30th, they're going to have the Super Splash event, and it's by age group, from kids to kids at heart, the adults. For 10 and under, they do a 25-yard swim and 500-meter run. And that costs $5 per kid, and it's going to be on the 30th. There at the 30th at 8 a.m. And then at 8:30, the kids 11 to 14 will participate in a 50-yard swim and 1K run. Cost again is $5. And then 15 and older is the 1K 50-yard swim and 500-meter run. That starts at 9 a.m. And then the final category is the adults, 1K run and 50 yards swim and 500-meter run. And that's $15. They'll leave at 9 a.m. You can sign up. There is a link online, but it's a lot of words. It's like trysignup.com/race/NM/Roswell. So for you not to, no one's going to remember all that. So just call Kim, the pool manager at the NMUR pool, at 575-624-7305, and you can they'll give you the links and everything to sign up. But it's trysignup.com, trysignup.com, and then there's like /race/NM/Roswell/Super Kids / all one word there.
I did put that link on the Facebook page.
Yeah, we interviewed Peter Tolles Friday. Perry Tolles. I'm sorry, Perry Tolles Friday. Talking, and he's kind of the one we're helping to organize and put together the event. And so Perry Tolles is the guy that we're going to do. But we interviewed him Friday. So if you go to our Facebook wall, you'll find the interview there, or go to ksvptv.com. Click on the Mornings with Mike Winters channel, you'll find there. But on the Facebook wall, if you click in the comments there, you'll see the direct link to sign kids up. So, or like you said, just call Kim over at the pool, 575-624-7305, and they'll get you set up. So, But July 30th, that'll be about 2 weeks from Saturday here. So, all right, it is 10 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a look at that weather. It's going to be hot. Wish I had better news.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have high pressure over the central Rockies and dry air over our area. It'll stay sunny and hot today. Our afternoon high between 100 and 105. Partly cloudy for the overnight hours with low 70s, and then even hotter on Tuesday. 105 to 110 on the afternoon high and sunny. We're in the low 100s and fair coming up for Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 79 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 35%. Winds currently out of the north, 6 miles per hour. Sunny and hot today, as is going to be all week pretty much. 103 the high for today with southeast winds 5 to 10. Tonight, clear skies, overnight low of 73. Winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10 miles per hour. Tomorrow, heat's going gangbusters on us. It's not pleasant. Mostly sunny. They're saying 107 from the National Weather Service tomorrow. I've seen 108 like on our local newscasts and everything, so it's going to be hotter than the dickens tomorrow. The winds will be out of the south, 5 to 10. Mostly clear tomorrow night. Overnight low of 74. South winds 5 to 10. Looking at the rest of the week, mostly sunny Wednesday. 103 for a high. Southwest winds 5 to 10. There's a 20% chance of rain Wednesday night. Little monsoon situation. We'll see how that shapes up. Thursday, partly cloudy. Highs right around 100. Monsoon, 20% chance of rain Thursday night as well. And then Friday night, we're looking at 20% chance of showers. 99, so right around 100 for Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday, more of the same. Sunny skies, highs right around 99 both days there, too. All right, it is 12 minutes after 8 o'clock. Let's go ahead and take a commercial break, pay a few bills, and then on the other side, we're going to play our interview Friday. We had join us around lunchtime. Judge Eileen Reardon. She is currently the judge in the 5th Judicial District, is Division I judge, which her bench is in Eddy County, but her caseload covers Chavez, Roswell, Lee, all of Chavez, Lee, Eddy County, southeast New Mexico. She was appointed by the governor in January of 21 to replace the judge that I believe retired before then. And she's been sitting in that chair since, and now she has to run to be retained here in the November election. So we had a great conversation with her. Going to play that for you in a few minutes on the other side of this break. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Yup, it's back to school season, and Roswell Honda wants to get you geared up with the 5th annual Back to School Blowout. Stop by Roswell Honda now through July 29th and register your kids to get a backpack chock full of supplies absolutely free. Then on July 30th, join Roswell Honda for the Back to School Bash with lots of free food and fun stuff for the whole family. And that's not all. While you're there, register to win a brand new desk, office chair, and HP laptop. Register now for the Back to School Blowout, July 30th, 10 to 1 at Roswell Honda, 2177 West 2nd.
Your ride is broke, needs a fix? Come on down, we'll take care of it quick at Big O. Big O Tires. Whatever the problem will ease your fears, we got experience nearly 60 years at Big O. Big O Tires.
With nearly 60 years of experience and high customer ratings, you can always count on your local Big O Tires to give you quality products and trustworthy service, all for a low price. From July 11th through July 31st, Save between $70 and $100 instantly on select sets of Bridgestone and Firestone tires with installation purchase. Big O Tires, the team you trust. Installation charges extra. Required on all 4 tires. Not valid with other offers. Eligibility may vary. Disposal fees extra and up to 10% shop fee based on non-discounted regular retail price not to exceed $35 where permitted. See store for details.
When you can't be home, make your space feel more like home with Candlewood Suites, Roswell, New Mexico, featuring extended stay rooms, complete with kitchenettes in a quiet area, plus plenty of great amenities, including free hot coffee 24/7, and the Candlewood Cupboard 24-hour convenience store, plus the Candlewood Gym and free laundry facilities. Cool off in the outdoor pool, complete with hot tub, and enjoy the outdoor gazebo and grills. And the Candlewood Lending Locker for stuff you couldn't pack, like crock pots, board games, and more. Call 575-623-4300 to find out more. Candlewood Suites, where everyone here is sweet on you. Your home away from home.
How do you make the most of your land? Shaw does it behind the wheel of a John Deere 1025R compact tractor, as he does everything to make
my yard look as beautiful as I possibly can.
But the Hubbards use their 1025R because
we really are trying to create this homestead.
There are millions of ways to make the most of your land. How will you make the most of yours? Nothing runs like a Deere.
Stop by Pecos Valley Equipment in Artesia and Roswell, or visit us online at pecosvalleyequipment.com.
Wakefield Oil Express has the highest quality service in Roswell with a 17-point full-service oil change that includes a full wash and vacuum at their car wash. You won't find a better deal. They also offer full synthetic oil changes, fuel and cabin filter replacements, and will even check your battery. Their tunnel wash isn't afraid of dirty vehicles. They have the best value wash in town with free vacuums. They even offer wash passes that can be used for multiple vehicles. Next time you need your oil changed, go to the fast and efficient Wakefield Oil Express and let them earn your business. 3204 North Main, Roswell.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Nissan announces a special vehicle liquidation event. Newly arriving inventory and an overstock on pre-owned vehicles means Roswell Nissan's got to make room. With huge savings on Frontier, Yukon, Ram, and more. Even some 2021s and 22s. And rock bottom back-to-school savings on Lexus, Chevy, Jeep, and even an Audi A5. If you've been putting it off, now's the time to trade up and save. The vehicle liquidation event on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. The catfish has over 27,000 taste buds. Do you think they prefer fried or blackened? Here's Mike Winters.
And welcome back to the morning show. And joining us in studio this morning is Judge Eileen Reardon. She is currently in a judge in the 5th Judicial District in District 1, which I guess the county, she resides in Eddy, but her cases cover all of southeast New Mexico here. She is a current judge there and running for the position again here. Good morning. How are you today?
Good morning. I'm doing well.
Well, first off, thank you for spending time with us. Appreciate that. And, your position, we're in that season of politics and candidates and everybody running for office, and it's a busy time. But and of course, everyone's, big D, big R, big all of this. But your position as a judge is kind of out of all of that, and I know we'll get philosophy here. I want to ask you some opinions on some of that stuff, but it's unique because you're not. Most when we talk elections, that's the legislative side of government, where your senators, your representatives, these are people that make decisions to make laws. But judges, they're in a different. They're not in the legislative side. They're not creating laws. They're here to interpret and enforce. So it's a different ball of wax than what big D, big R's. At the end of the day, a judge interprets the law that's already provided, and then it goes accordingly with that, with the sentencing or whatever it is. So I guess my first question is why do you think that the judges' races, and even sheriff for that matter, why are they partisan races where, you look at city elections, of course, you have a lot of experience on the city side as well, too. But why do we like municipal elections, in your opinion, versus a judge or something? Why are they not also like a municipal election unpartisan?
Well, New Mexico has tried to make a combination of factors in a judicial position work. To be appointed to the bench, which I was, you have to go in front of a bipartisan committee that is appointed of a number of members, and it has to be evenly divided between the parties. It has some non-party people on it as well. And that is a completely qualifications-based evaluation.
Gotcha.
And so that, for me, happened in November. And the Constitution sets forth some minimum requirements about age and years of licensure. But then beyond that, it's up to the commission to evaluate.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's a nonpartisan step. They try to make it, as I said, the commission's bipartisan. It's supposed to be a nonpartisan step. After that, though, we are being elected in your first election as a judge can be a contested election. And with that, you run as a partisan, you run as a Democrat, you run as a Republican, however. And then after that, whoever has made it through one potentially partisan election, after that, it's a retention system.
Okay.
And the state has what's called it's an evaluation that occurs at the state level that is done, that is, again, supposed to be nonpartisan, and it evaluates sitting judges as to how have you been doing? Are you keeping up with your cases? There are evaluations sent out to attorneys, to litigants, to court staff saying, what is this judge like? Should she be retained? Should she not? And then, so after your first election, all elections after that are retention elections where, again, it's not partisan. And a judge has to, I think, get a 57% approval rate. It's slightly above 50%.
Gotcha.
So it is this weird combination of both an initially bipartisan, then back to nonpartisan.
Sure.
So why the state did it that way, I think we're the only state that does it with that exact sequence of events. But I think they tried to, the parties didn't want to give up having some say in the judicial races, but they wanted to try to balance it with completely qualifications based.
And I can understand it to a point where you can, maybe you get a general idea about someone or something like that, but really, at the end of the day, you're a person that is interpreting the law and then using your expertise to determine what needs to happen next. You know what I mean? And whether because for folks that don't know, interviews with judges are almost more educational than pulping for judge. You know what I mean? It's like, I got to educate you on what my job is. and because a lot of people just think it's people's court or Judge Judy or something. And that's one sliver of the job and what you see. And to be honest, that's television court. That's not a courthouse. And that a very rudimentary way of how court works is Judge Judy. You know what I mean? That's
I think any profession you see on TV, I mean, if you ever talk to officers, police officers, they'll tell you like cop procedurals get it all wrong. And I know sometimes as a lawyer, as a judge, I would see something on a police procedural and it's like they're kicking in the door or not getting a warrant, and you're thinking, no. That's not how you do it. But for one of the odd things about being, let me draw that back. One of the things you most commonly think of when you think of as the court system and judges, you think of justice as blind. And so it is true. My politics, my personal politics, whatever they may be, have to be left at the door.
Yeah.
I'm not allowed to bring those in. I'm supposed to walk through that door, listening to the facts provided to me by the parties, and then apply the law. And as a district court judge, as a trial judge, I'm not really even, what happens at the Court of Appeals. They have a lot more power in the Court of Appeals and the Supreme Court to say, how should this law be interpreted?
Gotcha.
I, as a trial judge, am supposed to listen to what the Court of Appeals and what the New Mexico Supreme Court and what the federal courts have said the law, if you're looking at this law, this is how it should be applied to facts such as yours.
Mm-hmm.
So I am not supposed to bring through the door my partisan affiliation or my personal beliefs. I'm supposed to apply the law to the facts. And that's why you see that justice is blind concept.
Sure.
That I'm not supposed to take into consideration extraneous factors. I'm supposed to look at the facts as presented to me and apply the law.
Sure. And for folks that aren't familiar here, of course, the judge prior to being a judge for a long time was the attorney for the city of Carlsbad. So to be a city attorney for that long, obviously you've gained a lot of wisdom and experience in city law, government law, how that works, which, by the way, is a completely different animal than private things, the way people are done in private. I mean, as far as the procedures on how you do things and some of that.
One of the nice things, I initially I came down in 1990 after having graduated from law school. I came down to Carlsbad, and I was the law clerk for the 5th Judicial District. And it was a position that rotated every year between the 5th Judicial District is comprised of Chavez, Eddy, and Lee counties.
Mhm.
And so there was just one law clerk at that time. And it's they don't even have the program anymore. But at the time, there was one, and it rotated between the 3 counties. I was there in Carlsbad. I worked for Judges Watson and Schuler and Jim Schuler, and I was there for a year. And then I went into private practice in a small firm. And one of the things when you work in a small firm in a smaller town is you do tend to take whatever comes through the door. It's criminal, it's civil, it's domestic, it's probate, it's land use, it's all those. And at that time, Carlsbad did not have a full-time attorney. And the law firm I worked at, which was Rosenberg and Davis, they had the contract to provide the city of Carlsbad with legal services.
Gotcha.
So I start with Rosenberg and Davis, and I took over the prosecutions in city court. I did that for over 25 years.
Did you draw the short straw, or did you want to do that?
I wanted it. It's the nice stuff about city court is it's not going to be the big matters.
Sure.
But it's going to be a lot of interesting fact patterns and a lot of that trial work. And I was interested in trial work. And again, it's not going to be a 10-week trial.
Sure.
But it's going to be a lot of being in court and trying cases. Yeah. And so I loved that. And I loved working with all the branches of the city. Even through city court, you're working with the police department. You might be working with animal control. You might be working with code enforcement. You might be working with the building department. And all of that helped me understand, even having graduated from law school, the ability to understand how a community works and what all it takes to make it run well was to me very interesting. You can see it from the outside, but until you've worked with it, you don't necessarily know everything that's part of it. But after I'd been with Rosenberg and Davis for a number of years, the city wanted a full-time attorney.
Gotcha.
And so then I applied, I got hired, and I was there for a little over 25 years. And again, I was the only attorney that they had on staff. And again, like being at a small law firm, it was the jack of all trades kind of thing. It might be a criminal case that walks through the door. Maybe it was a land use case. Maybe it was a utilities issue. Maybe it was a contract issue. Clearly, there was the administrative side. When you look at administration, it might be drafting ordinances. It might be drafting resolutions. It might be assisting counsel. It might be working with the cemetery board. It could be planning and zoning, dealing with subdivision.
Sure.
It might be civil rights. Occasionally, people don't think that domestic law comes into your role when you're essentially a corporate attorney, but it does. Whether it's somebody walking through the door over a child support issue that the city was on being wages were garnished or anything like that. So again, it was just this incredible variety. And that was one of the things I really liked. Now, in some of the bigger communities in New Mexico, and I know Bernalillo County is one of them, when you become a district court judge, you're a trial judge. And in some of the bigger communities, the cases get divided again by topic. Maybe one judge does criminal, one judge does civil, one judge does juvenile, one judge does...
Based on probably their expertise or experience. Yeah.
Well, no, not in the 5th.
You're a jack of all trades in the 5th.
Right. And so again, all those 25 years of working with all those different topics has come into play in this job. It's domestic, it's civil, it's land use.
Sure.
It's all of them.
It's kind of like medical field where, you got the family small town doc that's got to treat everything versus the big city doctor that just does back surgery all day or something. Like same concept.
Yeah, it's a great analogy. I mean, because you have that same kind of, it's a little bit of everything. The one thing that does come with I'm Division 1, and the one thing that comes with Division 1 that is not shared between the other judges in all of the 5th is water law. So water law cases are assigned directly to my court.
So you deal with strictly Eddy County water issues.
Well, Eddy, Chavez, and Lee. Because again, it's all of the 5th.
Gotcha. Okay. And we're
so,
part of the 5th, and Lee and Eddy are Chavez counties, yes.
And so having come from the city where, again, the city held water rights. We held subterranean rights. We held Capitan rights. We held Ogallala rights. We had surface rights. We had irrigation rights. All of that work has, interestingly enough, also come over with me into my position as a judge.
And I'm sure that's a whole ball of wax in and of itself.
It is a distinct field of law, and and as you say, like back surgeons, it is natural resources and water law in particular are things that some attorneys specialize in.
Well, I always hear the saying, whiskey's for drinking, water's for fighting. And that's kind of that. And in this part of the country, that's a pretty true statement with other states and I mean, Texas and other counties.
We have the compact specifically with the Pecos. Other rivers in New Mexico, they're like the Rio Grande has a compact as well. But the Pecos has a compact where New Mexico has to look at how much water is delivered to Texas. You look at like flood inflows, you look at runoff, you look at all those things. We also have, with the boom in the oil and gas industry, you have as populations grow, all of that puts a demand on water.
Sure.
So everything from farming and ranching to municipal populations or just populations at all, those all oil and gas industries. Some of the extraction industries look at that. I mean, it's a huge area.
I just spawned another set of questions there. I'm kind of thinking, but it's kind of curious. This is just a gee whiz wonder thing with you talk oil and gas and you talk about the booms and things. Does that change your caseload in that where when there's more population, you're tending to see more criminal stuff versus civil, or does that impact that at all?
You'll see a raise in almost every area. The minute you get more population, you're going to get everything in the domestic, which may be child custody, child support, divorces, anything like that. Obviously, the more people you have, the larger your caseload.
Sure.
You'll also look at it with some of the what's called in the profession PI, personal injury. Again, some of those industries, because of the heavy physicality of them, you're more likely to see injuries. Maybe it's what you've seen is some of the injuries on the highway where there's been accidents involving oil and gas vehicles or just traffic in general.
Sure. Workman's comp issues.
Now, workman's comp in New Mexico is handled by a workers' comp commission.
Okay, so that doesn't really come to district courts unless it gets
pulled out of
Gotcha.
there. So again, that is something that we don't see as much of. But anytime you get a boom in population, you're going to get a boom in certain areas. Obviously, with like contract law, land use law, anytime you get more people spilling in or oil and gas, what oddly enough, you wouldn't think of it, but oil and gas has also increased what you see in the probate field. And what has happened is maybe,
I can imagine that.
Maybe in an old probate, somebody didn't deal with land ownership. Maybe they didn't realize somebody owned mineral interests. So grandma died. We didn't realize she had mineral interests. Because there was no activity on those mineral interests, nobody came knocking on our door.
And then finally somebody came
30
along.
years later, somebody's wanting to access those minerals, and now they're knocking on your door saying, okay, we see that Grandma Betty died 30 years ago. Who owns those minerals now? And they have to reopen or for the first time open a probate to figure out who those minerals are now held by.
And then sometimes the person that probably owns it don't realize they own it till they dig into the probate and then you get the letter from the long-lost uncle left you something kind of situation.
And you'll see that. And sometimes what you have are just hugely complex deals where there's many people involved in an area that had some interest in, or at least a potential interest in the mineral interest. And now they're having to sort through the oil and gas companies are coming in. They want to know if we develop these minerals, who are we going to pay?
Mm-hmm.
And so they have to go back in and find anybody who is living, try to get people to probate stuff if the original owners have passed away and the rights have not been appropriately transferred. So even these weird kind of tendrils will leak into other areys where you're thinking, what would oil and gas have to do with Grandma Betty's probate from 30 years ago?
Pretty much if it involves people in any way, shape, or form, it's connected in some way. At the end of the day, it really is.
Well, and if people are going to argue over it, eventually the legal system's going to get involved. So
exactly.
Well, hopefully.
You've been serving as the judge, the District 5, Division 1, but about a year and a half now.
Year and a half.
Roughly.
I started at the very beginning of January 2021.
Very good. So just a hair over a year and a half here. I guess my question is, what's the lessons learned? Like in this year and a half of being the district 5th district judge here, what's been the lessons learned from you? Things you've taken away that either you didn't expect or, you know what, this is the way I should do it now as a judge versus as a city attorney?
Well, one of the things that I noticed first was in my role as a city attorney, a lot of times there was the need to build consensus.
Mm-hmm.
And, with the city, there was a mayor, there were 9 council members, and then you had the public, you had different departments, and there was a lot of consensus building. So I think one of the very first things that struck me was, only less than a month into this, we were at the end of a hearing, and I said, well, what I think we're going to do, or maybe what the best thing we should do is, and I realized well, no, I'm going to tell you what we're going to do. You know, as
Sure.
the judge, I'm going to make this decision. And I had to, there is still a need to develop, a consensus, but there is also that you make the decision. In the end, I'm responsible for my decision. I need to announce it. I need to come to that decision.
Sure.
And as much as I want people to come
Agree.
along with me, that's not always required. So that was one of the first things that struck me.
That you can't always be everyone's friend, sort of, a little, or at least try to. You know what I mean?
didn't
I get
have
that.
to build consensus because in my old job that was very much a part of it, was trying to
Sure.
get all parties to kind of come
Work.
together.
Yeah.
And with this, it's like, no, they've come to me because they can't come together.
Sure, and
now
you're
I
the one
need
who
to-
needs to put them together.
Right.
Yeah,
So
that
this is
makes
what we're
sense.
gonna do.
Yeah, your role turns from being peace. I mean, yes and no, but being that peacemaker to saying at the end of the day, I'm going to resolve this whether you agree with me or not.
Right.
Kind of mentality.
Well, and there is a value to parties having a clear and timely decision. I mean, and not to tomorrow or let's continue to talk. And so part of what is needed in a good judge is that ability to say, okay, this is what we're going to do. This is my decision. If you don't like it, there are rights to appeal. Then you need to proceed with those. And if I'm wrong, the Court of Appeals or the New Mexico Supreme Court will certainly tell me.
Sure.
But you need a decision. And oftentimes by the time people have made it into court, they feel like a lot of time has been spent trying to resolve it and not resolving it.
Sure.
And so you have to be aware of that. I think one of the other things, but I think everybody has felt this, is how teleworking has played into this, into what has happened with the pandemic. And the nice thing is that the courts have moved more to online hearings, and I think especially in a district as large as ours, where you're talking about Eddie Chavez and Lee
a lot
counties.
of real estate between towns.
Right.
Yeah.
The nice thing is you can try your case and you can remain in Roswell. The other attorney may be in Carlsbad. You can have your clients with you there in Roswell. They can have their clients there in Carlsbad. And we're not asking you to commute anymore. So there was that adjustment to more of an online
And I
work.
imagine by default, it also streamlines your docket a little bit and allows things to happen a little quicker and maybe a little bit smoother, too.
Well, and to a certain degree safer. For example, like criminal arraignments. It used to be that if a defendant was in jail, he or she would have to be brought over. It would take detention officers. They would have to bring them over. They would have to sit with them while they're waiting their turn for their hearing. And nowadays, those are held when a person is in custody, they remain at the jail. And so they are appearing telephonically. And for the jail, that's so much easier.
Absolutely.
It's so much safer.
How many
for everybody
times do we
involved.
hear whenever there's a convict escaped or something, it's always in those transit situations.
Right.
They're transferred to and from court or to and from something. They're not, generally it's not while they're sitting in a jail, it's when they're going to and from someplace.
So to me, this is for the jail. It's more economical
Yeah,
and it's
makes
safer
sense.
for them. They're not having to worry about who has that prisoner been in contact with. Has somebody tried to hand them something or approach them when they shouldn't? Has the prisoner tried to escape? Well, no, they're not. They're leaving their cell and going down the hallway,
It's
but
not
they're
a
not
factor
leaving the
anymore.
building.
Yeah. I got one more question, and it's more of a convoluted, but just a curiosity one. Where, obviously, when it comes to determine a case's outcome, the law tells you which way to go on that. But when it comes to sentencing and things, that's where you get a little bit of latitude, right, on how to decide what happens next here. For you, how is that thought process? How does that? Because as someone who's not an expert in the law, a lot of us probably lean on emotion. Well, this guy's been a bag of garbage for years. Why do we keep seeing this person and things? But the law doesn't work that way, and what you can do. You're a human being. There's probably people you see day in and day out, and you're like, why do I keep seeing the same person? Why is it? You know what I mean? And so how do you do that? How do you make that decision problems where you don't let your emotions come into play, but at the same time, your emotion may be the same emotion as the community and needs something to, you know what I'm saying? How do you make that balance where this is more about the community and not about me?
For a lot of it, not all cases, but for a number of cases, the prosecution and defense come up with an agreement. And in exchange for, Bob changing his plea, we've agreed that this is the sentence that will be applied.
Yeah.
And a lot of times for the prosecution, they're weighing a number of factors. The majority of which is how likely am I to win at trial? Maybe they're having problems with a witness.
Sure.
somebody is very traumatized. They don't want to come to court. You're looking at a child victim. You don't want to put them through that trauma. And so the state often gives up a little because they're assessing the strengths and weaknesses of their case. And defense is doing the same thing. They're looking at the strengths and weaknesses of their case. So when they come to you with an agreement as to sentence, then you could completely reject the agreement, or you could adopt the agreement and they've agreed to a sentence. A number of times, though, there's been a trial, there's not been a plea agreement, and the person's been convicted, or there's sometimes changes of plea where there has not been an agreement as to sentence. The state might make a recommendation. There are certain resources that are available. Sometimes the corrections department becomes involved, and they might give you an assessment about what they suggest. I look at a variety of factors. I do look strongly at somebody's history. Or have you learned your lesson? For some people, they have not been in trouble before. At least they've never been charged or convicted before. And you're thinking, what went wrong here? Why did this behavior occur? Other times you're looking and you're like, this person has a very lengthy criminal history. They're not learning their lesson. And maybe some of the options that you might offer to a first-time offender, you're thinking, no, this person's either had that
it's a waste of time,
and it's a waste. I also look at the severity of the crime. Obviously, with different offenses, there are maximum and minimum penalties that may be set forth on those. So when you get convicted of a fourth-degree felony versus a second-degree felony, your options for how long or what the minimum amount is vary. New Mexico does have a habitual offender statute that says if you have certain prior felonies that occurred before this offense, those will be used to enhance or increase your sentence in this case. So that affects it as well. But, you look at the offense. I oftentimes look to see the effect on the community. Sometimes it's very much an individual that's been very affected. You'll see those in batteries and robberies where you have a victim, a true, this was me versus you, and you were the victim. You can also see it more generally on a community level. We've seen that with embezzlements, with multiple thefts, where this is a person that's victimizing a large swath of the community. And I take that into account as well. I believe that, the only person that can change your behavior in the end is you.
At the end of the day. Yeah.
And I will, if it is an issue that maybe some rehabilitative things will help fix whatever is going on, then great. But if those have been offered and they are not working for you, then that's it. We're looking at severe jail time.
I would imagine, too, you get, and I'm hoping you've had a few of these moments in the year and a half since you've sat in the bench there, but I'm sure you get moments, too, where your sentencing is the lesson learned. Like, what I mean by that is, like, you get someone that, like you said, doesn't have a lengthy criminal history, did something just dumb. And you're like, what were you thinking? And you're like, this person doesn't necessarily, it's not going to benefit anybody to throw them in jail for an eternity or whatever. And so you say, all right, I realize, you screwed up pretty bad. Let's do something to kind of make you understand that this is a bad thing to do, but we don't want to destroy your life at the same time doing it. And so I'm glad you get those moments where someone like that comes in and you give them, they go through a program or something, and then they come out on the other side. Now they're a better person. Do you have those? Have you had those moments where you get to see some of those people and say, thanks, Judge, for not throwing the hammer at me? Now I'm doing great. Thank you. I mean, do you have some of those going on?
Well, especially looking back at my times as a prosecutor in city court, where there's just been more time to see those people.
Sure, yeah, you've had a lot more experience there.
And I can think of, in particular, when you were describing this, what immediately came to mind was a case where it was an adult, but somebody, I don't think yet 30, and they had picked up a DWI, and she walks into court, and she's quietly crying the whole time. It wasn't that sort of, theatrical thing. It was a quiet crying. And the officer leans over to me, and he said, she's been doing that since I stopped her. And I looked at her record. She had no prior DWIs, nothing. There is some mandatory sentencing she went through. But what really dawned on me was merely being stopped by the police and facing this
was enough
for her. Now, I could also say that I had other people who walked in the door with their first DWI, and they didn't care. They didn't think they were at fault. And I was fairly certain that unless they changed their attitude, they were going to be right back with this or some other offense.
They disagree with the legality of what they committed to begin with. So
They just don't see the seriousness of it. Yeah. And I thought, here's somebody who does, from the moment it happened, see the seriousness of it. And I could also look over and say, here's somebody who doesn't care and probably will be back involved in the criminal justice system repeatedly.
Gotcha.
And those are sad to see, the people that come and go. I mean, because in the end, what we want is for this not to happen.
Sure.
We don't want you engaging in this behavior. You don't want your property stolen. You don't want your child hurt in a car accident. You don't want somebody to rob the bank. You don't want those things. And that's what we're trying to get to, is that you don't repeat that behavior and others don't follow in your footsteps.
Sure.
And it's, for the most part, for the people that I've had to sentence to some very serious jail time, most of those are still involved in that process at this point, because it's been a year and a half.
Sure.
And so they're still serving their time, or they're still in their probationary period.
So hopefully in your next term here, you might see them come out and say, "Thank you, Judge. I've turned my life around, and you started me on that path."
My thing is, I'd prefer never to see them again in my court.
You know what? That's probably, if you never see them again, then your job was done, and you're kind of like, but I'm sure that it makes your day when one of those folks come up and are very appreciative of, at the time they may have not been, but hindsight 2020, they are now.
And I have had people come up to me from my days as a prosecutor. I have had a number of people come up who said, "I don't know if you remember me, but," and I've had one or two that were having problems apparently with alcohol or substance abuses, and they were saying, "Hey, I got into rehab because of hitting bottom," part of which was the criminal charges.
Well, and that's the beauty of it.
And we've had a cricket.
There we go. Sorry, I should have been better about that. But I think that's probably, I would guess, part of the best part of the job is that part where you see people that were down and have now come and are doing better, and you know what I mean. It's almost like a saved case or something like that.
And we can see that in multiple other areas besides criminal law. There's been adoptions where like somebody was in some fairly rough circumstances, or they were in an insecure part of their life, and now they found security. Maybe it's with another relative. Maybe it's with a truly kind of stranger adoption situation. And you see those give you a lot of satisfaction, where you think, this is somebody's life who's gotten better.
Yeah.
You can also see it in other areas where people have had issues to resolve. And sometimes it's not necessarily through the court process, but we've seen it in some fairly bitter contested divorces where you get them involved in a mediation or in parenting or a combination of those. And you see that they're able to work out a relationship between the two parents.
Sure.
And they're now able to adequately co-parent a child. And you can see sometimes in those where a child's life is better, the parent's life is better, the family is learning how to work together.
Sure.
Maybe we're not going to be a couple anymore. Maybe we can't be married.
But they can coexist.
We can coexist and do our best for our children. And that's satisfying as well. That's very satisfying.
All right, one more of these questions, and then we got to wrap it up. Do you have a favorite type of case? Like, is there certain ones you're like, "Ooh, it's going to be a fun day. I got this kind of case
Well,
today."
I still really enjoy the criminal cases.
Okay.
Those are, one of the things about criminal cases, unlike civil, is there's some very tight timelines on those. So you can see a case begin and resolve fairly quickly. Civil litigation, just by its nature, involves a lot of out of court activity, a lot of discussions between the attorneys, a lot of discovery of evidence, a lot of interviewing and depositions and all that. And so those, as a judge, since you only see the parts that come into court, you lose track of them.
Sure.
Whereas the criminal cases are those that have a lot of rapid return to court things. And so you can kind of get the story told.
Yeah. Well, even burden of proof's different in criminal versus civil. And so that factors into the proceedings as well, too. So before we let you go here, if folks want to learn more about your campaign, I know you have the website, you have your Facebook page.
Yes, we do.
I think your website was like judgeeileen.com.
Judge Eileen. Yes, Judge
I think that was
Eileen.
the right. And then, of course, just look for Judge Eileen Reardon on Facebook as well. I think it's like reelect or campaign to elect Judge Reardon, something like that. To keep. That's a keep Judge. That's the one. But there you can like and follow, ask questions. If you want to get involved in volunteering to help campaign or pass out, signs and all that kind of stuff, they can reach out to you there.
There's a way to reach out directly to us through both the webpage and the Facebook page. There's a way to volunteer if you want to assist, to offer assistance. If there's other things you want to do, that would help. So.
And if I understand right, you're on the ballot in all 3 counties, right?
Yes,
because you're in the 5th district, Division 1. It covers these. So if you live here in Chavez or in Eddy or Lee County, you will see Judge Eileen's name on the book there,
yes,
or on the ballot there.
I will be there.
Awesome.
Thank
Is there
you.
anything you wanted to mention that we skipped or didn't get a chance to talk about?
No.
Awesome.
You've been pretty thorough here.
And then some, right?
Yeah.
Some people are like, man, you ask a lot of questions. But thank you very much.
You.
Thank you for serving, too. I'm sure you don't get this enough, is at the end of the day, it's a tough job, because like you said, you're not going to please everybody at the end of the day. And we do appreciate that service.
But that's something I also see as an overlap from my time with the city, is that being part of a community, and just as like working with the city, I saw how I could affect and be a part of the community. I still see that in this job, that it's a different role, but there's still that interconnectivity with the rest of the community, and that I will say that is also one of the most satisfying things about this job.
Good deal. Well, thank you, ma'am. Appreciate it. Hopefully, I get to see you in situations like this and not in your courtroom.
As I said, I hope not to see you there.
There you go. I'd rather see you at lunch and not in the courtroom. So,
thank you.
Thank you very much, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right.
I'm Jared Sorello. Thanks for joining us this hour. We have a traffic alert for you in Roswell. Work starts today on the second and last phase of the Atkinson Avenue reconstruction project. That means North Atkinson will be closed between 4th and Cherry Streets. Accommodations will be made for local traffic only. The contractor will complete water line replacements and reconstruction of the roadway. That project isn't scheduled to be done until October. A ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled in Carlsbad for a new senior center. The Alejandro Ruiz Senior Center celebration will be August 26th at 120 Kircher Street. Right now, the city is in the process of moving from the San Jose Senior Center to the new location. Ruiz is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient who was born in Loving and enlisted in the U.S. Army in Carlsbad at the start of World War II. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have high pressure over the central Rockies and dry air over our area. It'll stay sunny and hot today. Our afternoon high between 100 and 105. Partly cloudy for the overnight hours with low 70s, and then even hotter on Tuesday. 105 to 110 on the afternoon high and sunny. We're in the low 100s and fair coming up for Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
With Wall Street Business Report, I'm Kim Norman. Long lines are back at food banks around the country.
Reeling under the double blow of inflation and soaring gas prices, many people are seeking charitable food for the first time, and more are arriving on foot. Inflation in the U.S. now at a 40-year high, and gas prices have been surging since April of 2020. With the average cost nationwide briefly hitting $5 a gallon in June, the food banks are struggling to meet the latest need, even as federal programs are providing less free food, grocery store donations are down, and cash gifts of any kind don't go nearly as far. Bob Agnew reporting.
Financial leaders of the group of 20 richest and biggest economies have agreed on the need to jointly tackle global ills such as inflation and the food crisis, but have failed to bridge differences over the war in Ukraine. And some drivers have lined up for days, occasionally more than a week, to fill up with diesel fuel in Cuba. For the Wall Street Business Report, I'm Ken Lorman.
One of the best things about summertime in New Mexico is all the great places to go and neat things to do. Camping in the mountains, swimming at the lake, exploring the caverns, and so much more. And what makes all this fun and adventure possible is a dependable car or truck that fits your family and hauls your toys. That's just what you'll find at Roswell Ford. Here at the Tailgate Nation, we have the best selection of nearly new cars, trucks, and SUVs in southeastern New Mexico. They've all survived a rigorous 139-point inspection, and Roswell Ford gives you a 3-day money-back guarantee to make sure you're happy. You know Roswell Ford is always looking for gently used cars and trucks. If you have one you want to sell, we'll make you a cash offer on the spot and give you a week to think about it. This summer isn't going to last forever, so make the most of it with an upgraded ride from your friends at the Tailgate Nation. Roswell Ford at the corner of 9th and Main, the official sponsor of Summer Fun.
The E&MU Roswell Pool is open for summer 2022, and it's open 7 days a week from 10 to 11 every day for lap swimming and from 11 to 5 for open swim. Just $5 for the whole day. Once you pay, you can stay all day. With full concession stand, lots of covered seating, and more. Swim passes are available, and E&MUR students get it half off. Book the pool for your next party or get-together and run the pool from 6 to 10 p.m. For information and reservations, call 575-624-7305. That's 575-624-7305. There's a whole universe out there. Come explore at the International UFO Museum and Research Center, featuring engaging exhibits, astounding sights, and in-depth first-hand accounts of the incident that put Roswell on the map. The research library features the most comprehensive collection of UFO research materials in the world, and you can get exclusive one-of-a-kind gifts and merchandise at the gift shop or online at roswellufomuseum.com. Open daily from 9 to 5 in downtown Roswell. Visit the International UFO Museum and Research Center. It's otherworldly.
It's an old story. You go on vacation, you relax, you have a good time, and then you come home to a world of disarray. Your mail is backed up. You have 100 messages on your voicemail. Your lawn is 3 feet tall, and your pool has developed a nasty algae problem. Well, the good people at BioGuard can't solve all your problems, but they can help you with your pool. So before you go on vacation, stop at Mays Lumber at 115 South Virginia in Roswell and ask about their special vacation plan. BioGuard has a wide variety of products that will find algae and take care of your pool. So when you come home from your vacation, you can depend on your pool to relieve your stress and not add to it. Because BioGuard guards more than your pool. They guard your time, your vacation, and your peace of mind. BioGuard at Mays Lumber, 115 South Virginia in Roswell.
We cut to order, special order, products sold and new. You can count on Mays Lumber Company.
In times of uncertainty, one thing seems to be constant. Crime tends to rise. Zenith Security Services, a locally owned company that's invested in our community, reminds you that for less than 5 quarters a day, you can be proactive in protecting your home, family, and assets with a monitored alarm from a top UL-rated company. The hardest calls we receive at Zenith Security are those needing our services after the fact. Call Zenith Security Services at 575-626-3521 to schedule your free security assessment today.
Pressure Services LLC in Artesia has immediate openings for experienced vacuum truck, kill truck, and hydrovac operators. Operators must hold a Class A CDL or Class D CDL, at least 2 years of experience, and be at least 25 years of age. All positions require a clean driving record and must be able to pass a DOT drug and alcohol screen. Pressure Services offers great pay with IRA benefits and employer contributions toward health benefits. Please apply in person at 402 West Main in Artesia, inside the Age Safety Facility. Equal opportunity employer.
Buying a sewing machine from a big box store or online might seem like a bargain, but in this case, you really do get what you pay for. Just the machine. No lessons, no help with figuring out why it isn't working the way you expect, and no one close to fix it. Buying locally from an authorized retailer may cost a little more, but in the end, it will save you time, money, and aggravation. Come see me, Chris Ann, at So Easy Sewing, 200 East College Boulevard in Roswell, and let me show you why it pays to shop local. So Easy Sewing. You've never had it so easy.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. Men are 6 times more likely to be struck by lightning than women. That's because men are 6 times more likely to wear a tinfoil hat in a thunderstorm. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 8:57. If you missed any part of either of those interviews with last hour with Congresswoman Yvette Harrell and the one earlier this hour with Judge Eileen Reardon, you can go back and check them out at your leisure after the show today. We can go now and just click on the live feed and rewind. But after the show, Roy will separate those interviews from the interview and place them up there by themselves so you can check them out whenever you get a chance there. Stay tuned for next hour. We got 2 guests coming in. We're going to start things off with the folks from the Chaves County Health Council. They're going to join us, give us an update there. Of course, the Health Council will be happening August 6th at the Roswell Convention Civic Center from 8 to noon. We'll talk all about that. I know deadlines have passed for sponsorship and things like that, but we'll get an update on all that from them. And then later on next hour, we'll have Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot join us to give us an update on what's going on there. He's the guy you want to talk to first when you're looking for a home because he's the finance guy. He'll tell you what you can afford and what you should do and all that good stuff before you talk to the real estate agent. So we'll talk with Elliot next hour in the back half and get an update from him on what's going on from Loan Depot there. Let's see. Do want to mention, let's see, there was something else. Oh, yes. Coming up here, August the 25th, the Historical Society for Southeast New Mexico is having their Trip Down Memory Lane drive-through fundraising event. They're celebrating the last 40 years of Heritage Dinner recipients with this one. And it's going to be a drive-through event. And you're thinking, well, why do they still do this? And even though we're kind of out of COVID. And by demand. It really has been something that people have gravitated towards. And not saying we're not having Heritage Dinners and things like that again, but we've had a lot of folks that really like these fundraising events. So it's just like before. It's going to be you can get a meal for $2 for $100 or a box that feeds 10 for $500. You can have them delivered. You can come pick them up. They do all that stuff. Log on to roswellnmhistory.org to see the full menu and to order and everything. Dinner includes they're going to have a beef dish and a chicken dish, a braised beef tips, and then a spinach and artichoke grilled chicken sides and all that go with it. RoswellNMhistory.org is the website to check it all out.
Clyde Lewis and Ground Zero is now in Roswell on 106.5 FM. KEND Roswell.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Cracks are starting to appear in the wall of Democrat support for President Biden in the Senate.
With the president's approval ratings hovering in the low 30s, support among Democrats is waning. One Democrat senator who requested anonymity told The Hill support for the president is growing weaker in the Senate, citing a New York Times Siena College survey showing the vast majority, 94% of Democrats under the age of 30, are hoping the party selects another candidate in 2024. One progressive group, Roots Action, is gathering signatures in a campaign to try and prevent the president from running. Bob Agnew reporting.
While hundreds of law enforcement personnel rushed to the scene of the mass shooting in Uvalde, Texas, a newly released legislative report says that once they got there, they waited more than 1 hour to confront the gunman who had killed 21 people, 19 children among them. Police in Greenwood, Indiana, call him a hero, the legally armed citizen who fatally shot a gunman who had opened fire inside a shopping mall in the Indianapolis suburb, killing 3 people. The hero bystander, legally armed with a pistol.
I can tell you that he's a 22-year-old male from Bartholomew County.
Greenwood Police Chief Jim Eisen telling WRTV the gunman, who was armed with a rifle, was fatally shot. A Florida jury is starting to consider the punishment for Nicholas Cruz, the gunman behind the 2018 massacre at Marjorie Stoneman Douglas High School. He could get life in prison, or he could be sentenced to death. The contempt of Congress trial of former Trump White House strategist Steve Bannon gets underway today. He rebuffed a subpoena from the Democrat-dominated January 6th committee in the House. Watching Wall Street, stocks sharply higher so far this morning. Right now, the Dow's up 179 points. The Nasdaq Composite Index ahead 125, and the S&P is up 28 points. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Charlie Dombeck here from Key City Capital. As a practicing CPA for nearly 30 years, I have found that 80% of your ability to grow your wealth is dependent upon 2 factors: taxes and investment performance. At Key City Capital, we improve investment performance by diversifying capital into off-market investment opportunities in passive rental real estate and alternatives like asset-backed lending. We recover dollars that clients unnecessarily pay in the form of income taxes, creating a lifetime annuity of savings. We are a sponsor of passive, affordable single and multifamily residential rental investments, which are located in Sunbelt landlord-friendly states. These investments are the top choices in a rising interest rate and inflationary environment. They represent a store of value, protecting your capital from market volatility. Learn how we at Key City Capital can help you ultimately grow your wealth rapidly. Connect with me at keycitycapital.com or give me a call at 817-912-1569.
Water bombing planes and hundreds more firefighters struggling to stop spreading wildfires in France. The flames being fed by gusty winds in the midst of a searing European heat wave.
More than 16,000 residents and holidaymakers have now had to be evacuated in this part of southwestern France. Last night, local authorities said the situation was deteriorating. The blaze had reached the shore along the famous stretch of coastline that includes Europe's highest sand dune, the Dune du Pilat. Winds and heat have also helped worsen another fire inland. France is braced for more intense heat, as forecasts suggest today will be the peak along the west coast, with temperatures set to edge above 40 degrees Celsius.
The BBC's Jessica Parker. As Russian troops press their offensive in Ukraine, Ukrainian President Zelensky has fired his state security chief and prosecutor general. News and analysis at townhall.com. In sports, a Sunday stunner at St Andrews, producing a first-time British Open winner.
28-year-old Australian Cameron Smith has ridden a wave of back nine birdies to surge to his first major title, closing out a one-shot victory at the British Open. Smith equalled the major record of 20 under after a closing 64 that included 5 birdies in a row from the 10th and a winning birdie on the last. He finished one clear of Cameron Young, who eagled the 18th to edge out Rory McIlroy for second place. McIlroy, who led with 6 holes to play, finished in a disappointing third place at 18 under after struggling with his putter all day. It was Smith's third win for the season. I'm Graham Agars.
The Seattle Mariners won their 14th straight game when rookie all-star Julio Rodriguez hit a 2-run double, and Ty France homered after joining him on the AL team, beating the Texas Rangers 6-2. More on these stories at townhall.com.
What in the wide, wide world of sports is going on here?
I promise you, whatever scum did this, not one man in this force will rest for 1 minute until he's behind bars. Now let's grab a bite to eat. Yeah, come on.
I feel the hot wind on my shoulder and the touch of a world that is older. I hit the switch and check the number. I leave it on and then I slumber. I hear the rhythm ringing through it. Flamenco guitar and cumbia music. I hear the talking of the DJ. The travel listen, what does he say? I'm on a Mexican radio. I'm on a Mexican radio.
Broadcasting live from high atop the J.P. White Building in downtown Roswell, New Mexico. It's Mornings with Mike Winters on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM.
Is that what I sound like when I talk?
Now, here's your host, Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 6 minutes after 9 o'clock. Welcome to hour number 3.
Tres inviernos.
Mornings with Mike Winters right here on 106.5 Roswell's Talk FM. Happy Monday. Welcome to it. I know it's not fun to say. It's not. Yeah, the bells. There you go. That bell needs. Let me see that bell. I wonder if there's. I know Sean and there's just needs some. I think they need some work here on this mechanism. Some little.
It needs to be like level and on some kind of flat surface for it to spring back up.
Yeah, it's very. It's all in the flick of the wrist.
Yeah. All in the flick of the wrist.
Yeah. It needs some work. It's a sad bell. Happy Monday, everybody. Hope you're having a delightful day so far. If not, a lot of time to turn around. It's going to be warm.
Yes.
Dress cool today because it's going to be hotter than Hades all week long here. So.
Yes. I was actually going out plenty of restaurants and stuff the past week just because it was so hot.
Yeah. Yeah, no one wants to cook because it's like, oh, yeah, it's going to be 50. Or what are we having today? Sandwiches. Cold cut sandwiches.
Yeah.
Potato salad. Things that, eat cold. Ice cream.
Don't get the spicy food. No.
Yeah. Although, I don't know all the science, but a lot of people argue that eating spicy food in hot weather cools you down.
Maybe. Probably the same reason why they drink like frappuccinos in the winter.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I get that. make you sweat a little bit and cools you off, I guess.
Because it raises your internal body temperature.
I guess.
Something.
I don't know. I'm not. There's a reason I'm a DJ and not a health expert. But
yeah.
But some people swear by that. So, although I'm one of those people that I'm not. I eat food if I want food. Like I don't. Like, oh, it's hot out, therefore I must eat. No, I will. It will be like July, and I'm like, I want chicken dumplings, something that you think's kind of a winter meal.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Well, I think people eat more when it's cold. Something about the cold.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, just like you think winter food, and you think of stews and chilies and heartier type fare. But I'm like, nah, I'll eat a big old thing of chili in the summer. I don't care. It don't bother me. And conversely. I'll eat a big old sundae in the winter, too, because I don't care, you know?
Yeah, I had enchiladas the other day.
See, those work anytime. But, like, certain foods, they always say are just, that like a good hearty stew or which they are great in the winter. I ain't going to lie, but I'll eat them in the summer, too. They're just as tasty the summertime to me. Like my wife likes doing chicken and dumplings, but it's usually a winter thing. And I'm like, well, just because it's July don't mean we can't eat chicken and dumplings the way I see it. But, you know, she tends to want, you know. And then conversely, I want potato salad and pea salad and things that you eat kind of in the summer. I'll eat them in the winter, too. I don't care. You know, it's all good to me. I could get, like...
That's a bold statement.
In our fathers and forefathers' times, you know, and all of that, where technology, and you had to eat seasonally, and you still do to a case. I mean... Obviously, corn is better in the summer than it is in December. You know what I mean? But we have the technology now where I can eat things that aren't available in the winter are now, you know? And I'm like, let's do this.
You didn't have a lot of options back then.
Well, it's just technology didn't allow us to preserve foods as quickly or for as length of times and things. You know, that's why, you know, produce and things, it's like, oh, well, these are in season. That's why we're eating these now. And now we live in a world where you can preserve that year round and people do it more. So
it was probably easier to preserve ice cream in the winter back then.
Well,
it was cold.
Well, ice cream was a huge delicacy before freezers and everything else. That was, I want to say someone, and I'm not sure if this is 100% true, but I remember reading years ago that it was like Thomas Jefferson that brought ice cream to the States. It was something he had in France and was like, ooh, this is amazing. And then he kind of brought it with him back. But because of the process of making it and preserving it wasn't something most people had back
I don't think there's
times.
any recorded trace of where it originated from. I think it just sort of happened.
I don't know. I haven't done that dig, but I remember years ago reading something about Thomas Jefferson and bringing ice cream here. So I don't, like I said, it was a long time ago, and I didn't do investigative digging on it to know the accuracy of that, or if this is like Betsy Ross flag thing where it's just a story, you know.
Yeah.
Which, by the way, that's true. Betsy Ross did not make the first American flag, and all that was all that was all hype and lore of history. You know, that kind of George Washington didn't go to her house and say, "I need a flag," and she made this and said, "Here you go." That's not how it went down. I think if I remember reading right, Betsy Ross's like great grandson, like in the around Civil War time, released the story about Betsy Ross as a patriotic thing and kind of all of that. I mean, I think like her name's attached, but it was like nothing to do. Like she worked in a factory that made flags or something like that. It wasn't like she's the one that designed it, but but it kind of like Uncle Sam and various other things that came out around that time to kind of instill patriotism and you know, support the Union during the Civil War kind of thing. So a lot of it's from that. But anyway, I got way off topic there. We got a full hour for you. We're going to have the ladies from the Chaves County Health Council join us here in just a few minutes. Coming up, the 6th of August, which is just a few short weeks away, is the 2022 Health Expo. So we'll get an update from them. Later on this hour, we'll have Elliot Rodriguez with Loan Depot join us and give us an update on what's happening over at his office, talking about buying, selling homes, and when's the right time and all that good stuff. So we'll get an update from him later on this hour. Before we do any of that, though, let's take a sweet, sweet gander at that hot, hot weather. I wish it was better.
I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton with your Pecos Valley weather. We have high pressure over the central Rockies and dry air over our area. It'll stay sunny and hot today. Our afternoon high between 100 and 105. Partly cloudy for the overnight hours with low 70s and then even hotter on Tuesday. 105 to 110 on the afternoon high and sunny. We're in the low 100s and fair coming up for Wednesday. I'm meteorologist Steve Hamilton, and that's your latest forecast.
Thank you, Steve. Currently 82 degrees here in Roswell. Humidity is at 35%. Winds are calm at the moment. If you like today, then you're going to love the rest of the week. If you don't like today, probably not going to like the rest of the week either. Sunny, hot, 103 for a high today. Southeast winds 5 to 10. Tonight, clear skies with an overnight low of 73. South winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow, that's going to be the real roaster. Mostly sunny. 107 the high tomorrow with south winds 5 to 10. Tomorrow night, partly cloudy, overnight low of 74. South winds at around 10 miles per hour. Wednesday, sunny, 103, southwest winds 5 to 10. 20% chance of rain Wednesday night, little monsoon situation there. Thursday, partly cloudy, highs right around 100. Thursday night, once again, 20% chance of rain, monsoon season, you know. And then Friday and Friday night, a 20% chance of showers. Partly cloudy, highs right around 100 during the day Friday. And then Saturday, Sunday, they're talking a slight chance of some rain Saturday. Once again, 20%. But sunny, hot, highs right around 100 both Saturday and Sunday. All right, 9:14. We're going to take a quick commercial break, and then we're going to have the ladies from the Chaves County Health Council join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Roswell Skin Center, a brand new state-of-the-art facility located in the 400 Penn Plaza building here in Roswell, is now accepting new patients. Dr. Brandon Cometti and his team offer a full range of skin care services, including general dermatology, surgical and cosmetic procedures, including cutting-edge laser rejuvenation, Botox, filler, laser hair removal, chemical peels, and other non-invasive options to improve skin health and turn back the hands of time. Call and schedule your appointment at Roswell Skin Center today, 208-2509. That's 208-2509.
One of the best things about summertime in New Mexico is all the great places to go and neat things to do. Camping in the mountains, swimming at the lake, exploring the caverns, and so much more. And what makes all this fun and adventure possible is a dependable car or truck that fits your family and hauls your toys. That's just what you'll find at Roswell Ford. Here at the Tailgate Nation, we have the best selection of nearly new cars, trucks, and SUVs in southeastern New Mexico. They've all survived a rigorous 139-point inspection, and Roswell Ford gives you a 3-day money-back guarantee to make sure you're happy. You know Roswell Ford is always looking for gently used cars and trucks. If you have one you want to sell, we'll make you a cash offer on the spot and give you a week to think about it. This summer isn't going to last forever, so make the most of it with an upgraded ride from your friends at the Tailgate Nation. Roswell Ford at the corner of 9th and Main, the official sponsor of summer fun.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. You burn more calories sleeping than you do watching television. For the ultimate workout, fall asleep in front of the TV. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 16 minutes after 9 o'clock, and joining us in studio this morning from the Chaves County Health Council, of course, Joanne Lopez and Jennifer Smith are back with us, and they just keep letting you back in here from Boys and Girls Club. Of course, Boys and Girls Club, they're the ones that are going to be making everybody get up early that day to do some running and have some fun. But good morning.
Way to start the day.
Exactly. So good morning, guys. How's everybody doing? Good. So in case folks aren't aware, August the 6th, mark this on your calendars, just a couple weeks away, is the 2022 Chaves County Health Fair. It's going to be happening once again, and the good news is everything is going to be over at the Convention and Civic Center. It's all one location. It's all in person. It's all like it was a couple years ago, back before this whole COVID thing started entering our vocabulary. So that's probably the best news is it's a regular old health fair this year, right? But let's go ahead and since we have you in early, let's start off. The actual day will kick off with a 5K that Boys and Girls Club's putting together. Talk a little bit about that.
So it starts sign up starts at 6:30.
Okay.
Run starts at 7. It's only an hour run. It's not too long. Basically, it's going to start at the convention center and head west.
Okay.
And then you're going to hit Louisiana, grab a bottle of water, and turn back around and come back. You don't have to run either. You can walk.
It's a fun run.
Exactly.
Yes.
It's a fun run. You
Yeah.
dress up in your 80s outfit. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw scooters racing each other down there.
We could now that we've got some.
Exactly.
And if you wore a costume that has a pocket for your smartphone, then you can order on the app and then, use the app, use the scooters.
Exactly.
I don't think you're winning any trophies for scooting the 5K.
No.
But you're having fun and
Exactly.
getting out there and helping Boys and Girls Club and all that. So,
Exactly.
So it's now, if you're trying to be competitive, by all means, knock yourself out. If you want to, whatever it is you do, eat a pound of spaghetti and shave your legs and do all that stuff they do to get ready for marathons, knock yourself out. But you don't have to.
No, you don't. Especially that early in the morning.
And then, and obviously, all the proceeds for the 5K are going back into the programs and everything for Boys and Girls
Exactly.
Club. What is the cost to sign up for the 5K at this point?
$30.
$30.
Yep.
And can you sign up to the day of, or is
You
there a
can sign
deadline?
up to the day of. We are placing shirt orders basically Friday. So if you've officially paid for it by Friday,
Okay.
You're guaranteed a shirt.
Okay.
If you pay for it afterwards, if there's shirts left over, you get one. If not, then we're sorry.
And it may or may not fit. Just saying.
Exactly. It may or may not fit.
If you're just saying, if you need like a 2X, and we're like, well,
We have a small.
We got medium.
No,
Here you go.
Exactly. But you can put it in like a shadow box and hang it on your wall.
There you go.
There's
There
ideas
you
there.
go. Or, crowbar yourself in there and start running.
Exactly.
Maybe it'll fit by the time you finish. But the point is to have some fun with it.
Exactly.
Come out and get physical. That's we're trying to help out the Boys and Girls Club here, but we want to promote getting physical and getting out there, and even if you're not taking it seriously like the hardcore 5K marathon runners and those folks are. The whole point is to get out there. So you're not, as far as a competition goes, we don't recommend you grabbing the scooters and things. But if you're just out there to have some fun with your family, get out in the sun, run around and get some exercise, then come on out, have some fun. My recommendation is wear 80s costumes that allow movement.
Yes.
So if you want to go with, say, Jabba the Hutt, that might not be.
It could be a little awkward.
You might need some friends to make that happen.
Yeah, maybe Jabba the Hutt on a scooter.
Tail wagging behind.
E.T. on a bike.
That would be perfect.
Why can't you get like maybe we'll say Dad plays Elliot and we could put the kid and E.T. in the basket in the front. And just go right. We want to keep the 80s themes going. And of course, if you have friends, then you can adjust your 80s theme accordingly.
Yes.
So say you've got 4 friends, you could do 18, or or perhaps maybe you do a band. I see Josie and the Pussycats running around out there, or who knows? Even anything. Pick your 80s. Max Headroom would be a good one.
Yeah.
You get a Max Headroom, like with a guy with a TV on his head, and that cartoony, computery, digital look from the 80s there that they had. Let's do all of that. So, but anyway, that's going to kick off the day on the 6th. But then we have a schedule of events that go on till noon. You start signing up for the race at 6:30 in registration, then you start running at 7, and then beginning at 8 a.m. everything will open up there at the Convention and Civic Center. They're going to have exhibits, booths, the screenings, all the things that are part of a health fair, which we'll let you guys talk a little bit more about here in a minute, and then and that'll go till about noon, and then. Of course, 8:30 will kind of be the opening, I guess you say, ceremonies of everything there, welcoming people, doing presentations and things like that. And then about 11, they'll start doing like giveaways and drawings and all that. And then about noon, everything will be tuckered out and tired and ready to pack up and go home by then. So that's kind of the plan for the day, right?
Yeah.
So So, ladies, what's some of the events that are some of the booths and things that people can expect at this year's health fair?
Well, we're going to do a ribbon cutting since we're going to be back just as big as the first year. We're going to kick it off with a ribbon cutting at 7:45.
Okay.
I believe with the red coats.
Okay.
And then once
they're
we
giant
start,
scissors.
Yes. Once we start at 8 o'clock, all the vendors are going to be there ready to go. 8:30 is whenever we have some demos and talks going from some organizations.
Okay.
We've got like a Tai Chi demo.
Okay, so if you want to see some of those demonstrations, probably usually like some dance demonstrations, some like you said, some martial arts, those kind of things.
Yeah.
So you'll see those. All that'll get underway about 8:30.
Yeah, we're going to have those scheduled out, and
they'll go on through noon, I guess, from 8:30 to about noon, depending on you know. Each group will have a X amount of time doing their thing.
Oh yeah, we've already got it all scheduled out, and we'll have a schedule up and point you in the direction of the rooms for the demos and the talks.
So if your family's part of one of those, and you're going to want to make sure you're hanging around that area around that time. So.
Oh yeah, and we'll make announcements all day whenever a new demo or a talk's going to start. And then we're going to have the mobile mammogram bus there.
Okay. Doing
mammograms starting from 8 o'clock until 5 o'clock.
Now,
so they're going to stay later.
So do you need to pre-register for that, or can you do it all right there?
So it's best if you pre-register.
Okay.
But if you are not able to, or for whatever reason, you can just go and you can walk up. They will take walk-ins.
Okay. But
And
save yourself a little bit of time and a headache if you pre-register. That way you can roll up at your appointed time and take care of business and then go on about the rest of your fair.
if you've got insurance, please register ahead of time because that takes time. If you don't have insurance, we did get a grant from United Way of Chaves County to cover mammograms for people that don't have insurance, or maybe their insurance won't cover the entire cost of the mammogram.
Okay.
We've got
Is that still
money.
a thing? I didn't know that was still a thing. I thought if mammograms were pretty much, insurance look at that. It's like, you need okay, good. You're good.
Yeah,
because
it's
preventative.
one of those of maybe you got a copay.
Gotcha.
And
okay.
you can't pay the copay.
But if you have trouble, then thanks to the United Way grant there's some help there for folks.
We don't
and
want
families.
somebody not having insurance to be a barrier to get this kind of thing.
And this is one of those screenings. Once you hit, the milestones in life there, a certain age, you need to have these done. And your body doesn't care if you can afford the screenings or not. It's and let's face it, breast cancer is one of those things when they catch it early, it's not a big deal. And I mean, it's a big deal, but it's not a death sentence. It's something it's very, very
Early
treatable.
detection,
Very treatable. It's kind of like colon cancer. Colon cancer is one of the slowest moving cancers, but if you don't have the screenings, then it's got plenty of time to do its dirty work here. If you catch it, that's why they tell you 45, go do it. What's mammograms? Is it
40?
40 is the first year for mammograms?
Yeah, so the mammogram bus, you have to be 40 or older, not have a mammogram within the last year.
Okay.
So
good deal. I would imagine if you have a family history of breast cancer, you probably want to be doing those screenings before 40. At this event, if someone's under 40 that wants one, can they request that, or is it just for 40 and older?
that would be a talk to the mammogram bus people.
Gotcha.
Whenever
Okay.
they're there, they might make.
I
an
imagine
exception.
if you talk and if your story's like, okay, maybe it is probably to your benefit to get, but to be honest, they'll tell you. You tell them the story and they'll say, no, wait till you're 40, you'll be fine. Or, sorry, we can't do it today, but schedule with your doctor and get it done. But please reach out. Would be best to go to like the Health Council's Facebook for information on registering.
We've
pre-registering for the mammograms.
Yeah, we've been
and all
sharing
that.
the flyer for that. It's got a web link on the flyer and a phone number. So if you are not web savvy, you don't want to do it, you can call them and set up your appointment.
Okay, very good. So that'll be there. I got to ask this. I know we're past deadlines for sponsorships and those opportunities. However, if some late Lucy comes rolling up right now and says, I want to get in, is there still opportunity, or is it's done deal? It's filled up?
It's done
It's
deal,
set.
yes.
So let it be written,
Carrie's
so
going to
let
be
it be done.
mapping out the convention center for all the booths.
Good.
And we're meeting with them on Wednesday, so it's 100% done.
All right, good. So all we're waiting to happen
You
now
might
is the
set
event.
up outside on the sidewalk with a
Sure.
table if you bring your own table and stuff,
105
but you're not going to be inside.
Officially, we're full.
Yes.
This is great. That's great to have. I'm great to hear that. That's going to be so when folks come out to the fair on the 6th, that's going to be a packed to the gills convention center full of booths and information and fun stuff too. I mean, we always talk about, get your mammograms, get your blood pressure checked, get these things, and yes, that's the message of this health fair, is to remind people to regularly have these screenings, but then give that opportunity for folks that can't do that regularly to do some of those, at least to get that check or at least to line up with healthcare providers. That's really the biggest goal of this event, is to encourage the public to come and take a look and be cognizant of their health. Telling you, educating and telling you, because let's face it, medical history changes as quickly as, I don't say medical technology changes as quickly as it is invented sometimes, and it's so obviously what we were told when we were younger is not always the truth now, and things that they learn, it's just, look at colon cancer screening. I mean, that was a thing you never touched till you're above 50, even above 60, I think, years ago. Now they're saying 45-year-olds should be worrying about that, guys. Same with mammograms and these others, these screening milestone-type screening events. That they're moving these down earlier and earlier because, one, the equipment's getting better. Like getting a mammogram in 2022 is a lot different getting a mammogram in 1992. You know what I mean? It's just a different animal altogether.
Oh, yeah.
Not saying it's a walk in the park picnic. I'm not going to lie to you and tell you, oh yeah, you should get 7 of them. They're fun.
Keep coming back.
It's like a ride at Six Flags. Just get right back in. It's not that, but it's not nearly as uncomfortable. It's not nearly as invasive as it used to be, and they're 10 times more accurate than they used to be. Things, and I know just from my own wife's personal experiences, it's kind of created some scary moments for people because they're so good at detecting stuff that they're like, hey, something's there. We can't tell what it is yet. We got to do a little bit more experiment. But they can see it, where 10 years ago, they're like, we would have never saw that. You know what I mean? And that's so now we're kind of like, all right, we see something. We need to make sure if it's something, or just no big deal.
And the mobile will be using the 3D scan.
Okay.
Yeah.
And that's probably the more advanced.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm not up on what's the latest. And I don't know if it's like razor blades. Now with 37 blades. I don't know if it's like that or not. But the point is, we want to get people to come out and be a part of this too. And of course, don't forget, there's a reason why this is always set for August, right around back to school time. If you need sports physicals, and there's always the giveaways of backpacks and school supplies and things like that for the family. So please come out and get all of your swag and get all that stuff. But at the same time, make an appointment or talk to some of the booths and talk to some of the different groups that are there at the event.
Yeah, pick up a bag and collect all the little giveaways.
We'll have at least 250 backpacks. We're going to have a whole lot more than that, and those are all going to be first come, first serve. We're also going to have Olympian Beauty Academy is going to be giving out 100 haircut coupons.
Nice.
So you can get a coupon and go get a free haircut for kids. Oh gosh, we're giving away.
And they've
bikes.
been doing that for years, right? They do that every year. They're great. As far as helping out the community. And to be honest, a lot of these groups you're mentioning have been doing these events at the health fair or through their own organizations for many years now.
We've got Western Sky we've got an office full of boxes of backpacks from Western Sky, because they're providing 250 backpacks, and then every organization that has a booth has to bring backpacks as well.
Good. That's kind of their entry fee for being
as part of their entry fee is having to bring backpacks with school supplies, because we want to make sure that kids have a good start to school.
Well, and that's let's face it. When we talk about kids getting back to school and all that, that's why the haircuts and all, because it literally is setting the table for them to succeed. Now they're not worrying about how do I look, do I have my stuff. They're focusing on what's the first day of school going to be like, and who's going to be my teacher, who's going to be my friends, who's going to, all the stuff that we think about in school.
We're going to have some fun giveaways too. We're going to be giving away some bikes and helmets and scooters with helmets. And we're going to be giving away a family pass to the aquatic center and a family pass to the zoo. And we've got a bunch of gift cards that we're going to give out for different denominations. And some organizations are going to provide like gift bags and gift baskets.
Good deal.
We're going to have a ton of stuff to give away. And we're going to make it worth your while to come out and
Very
spend
good.
the day with us.
So please mark it on your calendars. Again, it'll be August 6th from, well, officially the expo is 8 a.m. to noon, but you're going to get out there about 6:30 for the 5K fun run and everything. Where is everybody meeting for the 5K at?
Just right there at the convention center.
Right there at the convention. So everything will be right there. So just park there at the convention center, and then you're going to run your 5K, do it, and then you're already there. You can just mosey on in with your A-team compatriots or whoever you brought in with your 80s theme.
We'll also be announcing the winner of our T-shirt design contest.
Do we have? Obviously, everything's been selected and all that stuff. What's Can you? Have you leaked the design yet or anything? I haven't seen it.
It's on our Facebook page.
Okay.
We've got a Survey Monkey going that has all of the designs on there. Just go to our Facebook page, and it's down there a little ways, but we'll keep sharing it.
Good deal. And by the way, for the Footloose 5K run, this is the OG Footloose.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate the
Kevin
generations.
Bacon.
Yeah, I appreciate the generations that like this 2000s version of Footloose. It's fine and dandy. You Juliana Huff fans, good for you. But it's no Kevin Bacon Footloose.
Yeah, no, this is Kevin Bacon.
Yeah, this we're all OG. So if you're gonna go Footloose themed, that's fine. But you got to go 80, not Juliana Huff. Footloose. That don't count. We're talking Kevin Bacon Footloose. Tight jeans, VW Beetle, dancing in a barn when no one's looking, that whole thing.
Yeah.
That's what we want.
Exactly.
John Lithgow's the preacher telling everybody dancing bad. That's what we want. Sarah Jessica Parker is the love, the whole thing. We want it all.
Yes, sir.
And if you have any questions about anything related to the health fair, like and follow the Travis County Health Council on Facebook, and you can see there's an event page for the health fair there too. I believe all the links for the fun run is there too as well.
It's there. It's on our Facebook page,
Boys and Girls Club,
Travis and Lincoln Counties, and then even our website as well has the link too.
Good deal. And of course, there's lots going on with Boys and Girls Club right now too.
Yes.
Of course, back to school, all of that stuff. If folks want to learn more about the programs for the school season here coming up, what's the best way to reach out to the Boys and Girls Club?
Either giving us a phone call or jumping on our Facebook page.
Okay.
Either one will get you to somebody or help you figure out what you need to know.
There's so many, and they're career opportunities too. They're looking for folks to help mentor and work with the kids, but also looking it's a great opportunity for after school. Where they come and bring the kids to the facility there.
Yep.
They work on homework. They work on, all
we even
the cool
have dance parties on Fridays.
There you go. Footloose dance parties?
Potentially.
Well, they are kids. I mean, they can't give them all 80s. Eventually, they're going to want things that they want. Hey, can we do something from 2020? 2015 at least? Come on. Why is everything 1985? Well, is there anything we missed? Anything we wanted to get that we didn't get a chance to talk about? We got wrapped up in Doc Brown stuff or something.
We just want to thank all of our sponsors. There's way too many for us to say here. We'd be here all morning.
Maybe your last Monday before the expo when you guys are on the show here, we can run down every one of these sponsors.
Yeah, it's a lot, and we've been sharing. We've got our flyer up on Facebook.
Yeah.
So we've got the official flyer with the schedule and all of our sponsors.
Yeah, and this one's got kind of like the title sponsors. It looks like
those are presenting sponsors. Those are the ones that jumped on board.
Yeah.
Like at the beginning.
Good deal. Yeah, it's a lot longer list.
Oh yeah.
We went from this to this.
Yeah. We had a lot of organizations show up for us this year and sponsor the expo, and we're doing fantastic money wise. And so that's every penny that we get from the sponsors goes directly into the expo.
Absolutely.
And for, the space and the insurance and advertising and marketing, and it goes into all of these giveaways that we do. So the more sponsors we get, the more we can give out to the community.
Yeah. So thank you to all those sponsors. And like I said, even though we're at a point now we're not really accepting sponsors, if you rolled up and say, hey, here's a bunch of money to help out with this thing, hey, they'd take it in a heartbeat, but thank you for doing that.
Yeah, you wouldn't be able to be on any printed material, but we definitely thank you on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
And at the event, we're going to have a slideshow
Absolutely.
showing all the sponsors.
And like you said, it's an investment in our community.
Mhm.
That's what, and it's a win-win for you as a business too, because people are going to come here and they're going to go and participate, and they're going to say, "Man, I had a good time here." And then one day they're going to need your product and be like, "Oh yeah, I remember we were at the health event." So that's
yeah, and not all of our sponsors are health and wellness related. We've
Exactly.
got some that are not health and wellness related that still get on board because they want to provide this for the community and help support it.
I love Bewitches, delicious sandwiches, but not all of those are good for my health. I'm just saying.
But she has some salads that are good for you, so.
Just saying, they're delicious. And I kill people for them, but
Yeah, not only can she cook, she's the designer for our
she did
flyers
the
and so
logo
forth.
and everything
She's
too.
really awesome.
I had the 1947 like a week ago, and that thing was the bomb. I've had other sandwiches that are great, but that one hit home, man. Something about that one
we
hit
had
home.
Bewitches last night. So it was good.
Very good. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. We'll see you next week. And folks, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. If you still want to get involved in some way, shape, or form, you're not going to get on the materials, the spot, but love your help, and then make plans to attend. Sign up for the 5K. Like I said, you don't have to be an athlete. You just come have some fun. If you're looking for an excuse to wear your 80s costumes, here it is. If someone's been saying, "Man, someone bought me this Ghostbusters jumpsuit and I've had no reason to wear it,"
Yeah, there you
now
go.
you got a reason to wear it.
Perfect excuse.
Yeah, please support the run and sign up. It's a good cause. It helps kids in our community, and that $30 can go a long way.
Yeah. By the way, fellas, I know when I was a kid, Bo and Luke Duke, a lot of ladies looked at them. If y'all dress up like Bo and Luke Duke running around out there, I'm just saying you might get a date. Not so much Uncle Jesse, but Bo and Luke, you might get a date. Or Daisy. Yeah, you definitely get a date if you dress up like Daisy. Thank you, guys. We'll see you next week.
Thank you, Mike.
All right, it is 9:39. We're going to take a quick break, and then Elliot Rodriguez with Lone Depot is going to join us on the other side. Don't go away. You're listening to Mornings with Mike Winters.
Now for your Pecos Valley News Update. I'm Jared Sorello. Thanks for joining us this hour. We have a traffic alert for you in Roswell. Work starts today on the second and last phase of the Atkinson Avenue reconstruction project. That means North Atkinson will be closed between 4th and Cherry Streets. Accommodations will be made for local traffic only. The contractor will complete water line replacements and reconstruction of the roadway. That project isn't scheduled to be done until October. A ribbon-cutting ceremony is scheduled in Carlsbad for a new senior center. The Alejandro Ruiz Senior Center celebration will be August 26th at 120 Kircher Street. Right now, the city is in the process of moving from the San Jose Senior Center to the new location. Ruiz is a Congressional Medal of Honor recipient who was born in Loving and enlisted in the U.S. Army in Carlsbad at the start of World War II. You're up to date. I'm Jared Sorello reporting.
Hey CVE members, have you scheduled your no-cost home energy audit? If not, we're getting close to summer and hotter weather. It's time to sign up. Call 575-746-3571 to get your name on the list for a free home energy audit. Weather stripping, new door sweeps, minor repairs, and much more. Start saving money and keep that purchased air in your home. Central Valley Electric Cooperative is happy to partner with Green Metal Energy for this valuable audit. Again, 575-746-3571.
Attention Roswell and surrounding areas. Roswell Nissan announces a special vehicle liquidation event. Newly arriving inventory and an overstock on pre-owned vehicles means Roswell Nissan's got to make room. With huge savings on Frontier, Yukon, Ram, and more. Even some 2021s and 22s. And rock bottom back-to-school savings on Lexus, Chevy, Jeep, and even an Audi A5. If you've been putting it off, now's the time to trade up and save. The vehicle liquidation event on now at Roswell Nissan, 2111 West 2nd.
Here's a Mornings with Mike Winters fun fact. A group of 12 or more cows is called a flink. If you have only 11 cows, that's called a lot of cow pies. Here's Mike Winters.
And good morning. It is 9:42. Elliot's on the phone just real quick. He's finishing up calls, so we'll bring him on in just a second. But yeah, don't forget the health fair coming up here August 6th. Go like and follow the Chaves County Health Council on Facebook. That way you can see everything that's going on with this year's health fair. And, of course, sign up to be a part. They're always looking for volunteers to serve too. That when they're not doing the health expo, throughout the rest of the year, they're doing doing education events. They're making they work with various healthcare entities in our area to give opportunities and educate the public and vice versa too, bringing in they've all in the past bringing guest speakers and experts that talk about various fields of health for our healthcare experts to learn more about these things. So they've been doing that kind of stuff for years over there. So if you really want to volunteer and get in an organization that does a lot for the community, reach out to the folks at the Chaves County Health Expo for some information there. All right, it is 9:43, and joining us in studio with got his brand new Lone Depot polo on here, Elliot Rodriguez with us this morning. How you doing, sir?
I'm doing good. Good morning, Roswell.
Well, it's a Monday morning, and everyone's wondering where their money's at and all that good stuff. So
you ain't lying. Everybody's really going on that right now.
Yeah, I would imagine you probably are dealing with clients that are kind of all right. What do I need to do? Are we okay still? I imagine you're doing a lot of that right now.
I get the phone calls. Hey, the race went down and this and that, and like you and I spoke about.
Yeah, this is all coming. We knew this was coming.
The rates are not going up and down like they thinking. It's more like it's costing more, it's costing less, you know. And I guess the race will get in the positive this week or for a few days, and then it goes in the negative again. So the rates are not technically itself going up. It's just the cost of it.
Gotcha.
You know, because remember we spoke about what the Fed did with the 75% basis points, raising the ceiling for the interest rate itself. Okay,
and the idea is to kind of, in theory, to curb inflation. That's kind of the theory. Now, you can have financial experts argue till now and next Sunday on whether that's a good move or not.
Correct.
But that's the reason they've done it, and you know whether it's right or wrong. Well, we'll have a debate
we'll get to see.
Yeah, college classroom talking finance and ethics and all that.
The whole point was that they were going to open the whole country at least 2% breathing room from the inflation that's going on. You know, so is that really taking place? We'll see, because they're still messing around trying to buy more bonds and all kinds of stuff, trying to figure out how to keep it at bay, but that's a big animal that is kind of difficult to control if you think about it.
Sure. So. But for the most part, at the end of the day, though, when it comes to your atypical homeowner, really doesn't change a whole lot.
It doesn't truly matter.
Yeah.
Like you and I have spoken in the past. I mean, the facts are the facts. If you were qualifiable for $350,000 home, maybe you're qualifiable for $325,000, $330,000, $315,000, depending on the situation. Everybody's different.
Sure.
Okay.
Those numbers will change.
Change a little depending on what's happening, depending on what's costing you. To be honest, everybody's still going for the same numbers and the same stuff that they're going for.
Sure.
My job is to make sure that they don't go over what they're supposed to and keep it at bay as best as I can.
And none of that changes in this world. That's the thing. And this is something that Elliot and I have talked about almost every time is just because you're approved for $350,000 does not mean you need to look at every $350,000 home on the market.
Or $375,000.
Yeah, or $375,000. Ideally, you're thinking, okay, $350,000 is my ceiling, but that's Elliot telling you, look, I'm going with the numbers here and seeing this is what the number that you're at. But what do you want to do with this? Are you want to get furniture? What's your other plans? Because you can get. I got you in a $350,000 house, but if that ate up all of your wiggle room, now you're going to be living on cardboard boxes or having to take the bus to work because all your money's tied into house payments. So
I don't like the idea when somebody buys a house that they're completely 100% broke.
Sure.
Okay. That doesn't mean you cannot buy a house. I just think it's not the best, course of action.
Live within your means.
Yeah. Try to be having a little. That's what we always talk about, reserves. Okay. And that's important. And guess what? Everything is tidying up in a way that almost everybody needs to have a little reserve.
Absolutely.
Okay? Because everything is tight. Now, in the end of the day, the problem that we have is every time that the market is so, all over the place that is crazy because I don't know if you noticed, homes are going into the market and they're getting more expensive or more expensive.
Yeah.
Now the trend is changing because now they're going back. Okay?
Demand's going down a little bit.
It's going back because not everybody can go that high.
Yeah.
It's already happening in Albuquerque. Okay. It's not affecting us so much, but I can see a little the trend happening here. But I think it's going to still continue to go up a little more still, but that's the thing that we need to keep in mind, that if you are approved to this much, and especially if your lender is telling you, hey, this is your max. Don't come back and say, hey, I found a house for, an extra $25,000 or more. I mean, now you're pushing the limits, then I have to figure out things for you to make it work. And that makes it tough for everybody.
Yeah, let me ask you this question and go the other. Are we in a market now? Are we living in a world where you have to be more careful of being upside down? And what I mean by that is,
that's a good question.
When you buy a house before and you pay with these super low interest rates, odds are pretty good you're going to get your money back one way or another. You know what I mean? You're not buying a house that you're paying more for now that you're in essence not going to pay as much for 10 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
Are we getting in a point in the world here where these prices are going to a point where if you're paying for them now at this rate and you hold on to it, you may not get that? I mean, are we in that point where you're spending too much for a house now than the real true value of it is because of supply and demand and inflation and whatnot?
No, that's a very good question. It's a possibility.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we'll see how the trends and how the market continue working in the next 6 months to a year.
Sure.
Okay? You remember back in 2007, okay? It wasn't as quiet like it is now, but you saw how the spike on the prices of home went.
Sure.
Okay. I remember buying a duplex, which I sold not too long ago. That I bought it for $185,000 at the time, and it appraised at $195,000.
Okay.
But I bought it on the top of the market.
Gotcha.
Okay? Now, I refinanced it when I moved in town. So I did this when I wasn't living here yet.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
And that's when Flexi and all that nonsense was going on, and like, hey, there's plenty of rentals and fully furnished that need to make some money, which is still going on, by the way. We just don't talk about it.
Right.
Okay. It's actually better than it was 2007.
Is it now?
Yes. It's just there's not as many people as doing that because, as you know, the government have changed.
Sure.
How many people coming over here?
Well, and there's trendy ways to get quick bucks.
Exactly.
And it was a trendy way.
And that was a little out of control at the time.
Yeah.
The difference that is now is that it has gone so high, but there's a lot less. Okay, and they have their facilities that they build over there in Artesia, so there's a little less people that need the places, but people still commuting back and forth to Roswell,
sure,
and still renting places, and they're renting it. I think it's almost double than what we were doing before.
Because of the lack of housing markets in Artesia and Carlsbad, Roswell benefits greatly from
That's a fact.
Yeah.
So saying back to what we were saying on the 2007 when I bought that property, I moved over here on 2010 or so. Before I moved over here, I wanted to refinance my loan because I had a first and a second.
Okay.
And that's going to come back. Like I said, our companies already have a line of credit for, things like that because the rates are so high. So people can still do some of the things that they need to do without having to refinance their interest rate that is low that they have right now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what's going to happen is in the future, if you have a first and a second, maybe you could refinance and put them together at a better interest rate when the market gets better.
Kind of consolidate.
Yeah, consolidate it because it's a good idea.
Sure.
I think you and I even talked about, years ago about having a line of credit is always a good idea. Anyway,
absolutely.
So why not? It's your equity you have.
The best thing you can do for your credit is to have credit and pay on it all the time. Because at the end of the day, a credit report is basically a reputation report. Is all it is.
Really is.
It's just saying, it's telling people that you're trying to ask for money to say, hey, can this person is good for it? Is this person good for it?
Mm-hmm.
And if someone's sitting out there with an 800 credit score, they're like, yeah, this guy's probably pretty good for it.
Gotcha.
But if you're floating around with a 500 credit score, they're like, I think this person intends to, but that doesn't know how to manage a checkbook or and so next thing you know, I bought a house and then I just bought $1,000 microwave, and this next thing you know, I don't have my monthly income is $5,000, but my outcome is $10,000. So
right.
you're like, wow, I made $5,000 a month. That's pretty good. But if you're spending 10, it ain't so good, is it? And that's at the end of the day, that's what your credit report is.
Exactly.
Is a rudimentary.
Yeah, you have to keep it strong, and you have to be careful some of the things you do.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong by paying debt. Okay. Now be careful how you do it. If you're gonna pay debt and you're buying a home, make sure how you do that, because if we haven't put your credit yet and we're not there yet, you may just lower your credit score before that, because it's a crazy formula when it comes to credit, because it's like Chinese,
Sure.
And I don't speak Chinese, so it's kind of hard to even translate that, because it's tough. Because
Absolutely.
you could pay stuff up and then your credit score goes down. It's going to come back up, okay? But it depends what kind of stuff do you pay. Do you pay a credit card? Do you pay a installment loan? Depends that. So when I refinanced the duplex, around close to 2010, before I came over here, it took forever, okay? And I remember when I was in Colorado Springs and that I did loans in 2 and 3 weeks, and here I am, talking to this guy doing a loan for me, from a local banker here, which I actually ended up working for afterwards.
Small worlds, right?
I know, small world. But the thing is this, they were taking forever. And I was actually paying up a second to make it a first, okay? And I wasn't adding any debt to it. I was literally just making it, and it took forever still.
And you're kind of like, look, it's not, juice ain't worth my screws. You keep making me pay on these things.
I even called his office. I remember telling them, I closed deals in 2 and 3 weeks. What are you guys doing?
Right. I've knocked thousands off this loan I need now because I've been paying.
So when I was here, okay, after I made it a regular deal, because I was doing and this is also coming back for investment mainly. So guys out there, when I'm talking about no interest loan onlys, don't do that to yourself when you're buying a house. If you don't have to, please don't do that. But for investors, that's a perfect tool.
Gotcha.
Okay, because if you're buying a home for 3 or 4 years, okay, and you have an interest loan only.
Sure.
And you're planning to sell it, and you're planning to invest, fix it up, all kinds of different things.
You don't plan on holding it for 30 years and all that.
That's a different story.
Yeah.
So be careful, because that's coming back. Actually, that's already in place in some places already.
Sure.
Okay. So be careful with those. But when I refinanced it, I remember the guy telling me, it came this low and this and that. And I tell I'm not trying to say names because it's not a good thing anyway. But, so when the loan officer told me, it came at this low number, blah, blah, blah. I said, no, you need to go and find another appraiser and appraise that again, because that's the wrong numbers. Okay, because that's just crazy. I literally bought it for $185, and they would literally tell me that it came at half the price. I'm like, that's impossible.
Yeah,
okay?
that's a huge
even with the market going sour.
Yeah,
that's not true. So I finally got them to understand it and took care of it and got me another appraisal, and it came at $185 from $195. Now, that wasn't so much of a hit, because I was still,
Sure.
what I at least bought it, okay?
Right.
But I saw the trend on changing, and other people around here that knows on 2006, 2007, when it was the spike of prices on homes around here, if you were selling homes on 2010, 2012, now for some reason, the prices were way higher. They were pretty much about the same, if not less.
Yeah.
So yes, we have to be careful with those. Is it going to be as like that, or is it going to be worse? We don't know that yet.
Yeah.
Okay. But as long as you did the right thing for yourself, okay, and you don't spread yourself too far or too thin, if you may, then you should be okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But yeah, that's a good question. That can happen.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was harder to do that a couple years ago. It's easier to do that now if you're not paying attention.
We are kind of at the tip, of the prices, and like I was saying, I'm seeing a trend.
Sure.
That they're coming to price, or maybe coming a little less, and then some come higher, because it's still going back and forth. All right, just the same as the interest rates are going back and forth as well. So if you start looking at both of those things, they go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and that's the difference between investment property owning and owning a property for you to live in.
Exactly.
And that's, owning your home, you're going to make money on it, because odds are you're going to spend more than a couple years in it. You're
Correct.
thinking, I'm going to spend 10 years in it, or 20 or 30, depending when you get that. So you buy the home in 1995, and then you sell the home in 2010. It's going to be more expensive just because things cost more in 2010. So you're making that. But by the way, that whole time you're paying off that loan, that's building up equity. So you've paid all that off.
It gives and take.
So in 2010, when you sell that house, it may be worth 30, 50 grand more than when you paid for it.
Exactly.
But now you get all of that in cash, basically, to say, well, if you paid off the house or you paid 3/4 off in that time, now you got to take whatever you made, that 50 grand more than or 30 grand more than what the house is worth, plus all those payments you've been making, and now you've in essence got 100+ grand in equity there that you can put towards your next house or use it back on yourself or whatever it is. It's your money. It's yours to do what you please with.
And remember, the feds and the government. Okay, and guys, when I say the feds deal with something that we deal with directly, and the government is indirectly.
Yes,
they say that they're not involved, but they really are involved.
Oh yeah.
Okay, because if that was not the case, we wouldn't be having this conversation right now.
They're very much involved.
They're very much involved. It's just the two looks and the way everything goes.
Absolutely.
But you have to understand what they're trying to do is control, the market, and eventually they'll do so much that they'll bust it down and we'll drop in prices and drop in interest rates again.
Yeah.
It's one of those things,
At the end of the day, it's like trying to control a riot with a couple of sticks moving them. You know what I mean? It's really hard to do.
You need the water pressure tank and the big shields to be able
exactly.
to do that.
Exactly. You need the better stuff. But we're running short on time here. But if you are looking to buy or sell or buy a home, really more, even
sell, because
even
if
sell,
you're going to sell,
maybe
you want to buy another place.
Yeah.
Because it's going backwards. It's growing to a bigger house.
You know what? That's true.
Downsizing to
if you want to get a look at your numbers and everything and see what kind of you're looking at when you buy your next house, it can help to navigate all that. And of course, probably not a lot of refis going on right about now, but
you'd be surprised.
But
which is weird.
He can help out with all that too. So.
It's like where they're coming from is still happening.
Sure.
Because there's so many reasons for them to happen.
There is true. I always think you're trying to lower your payments, and that's the main reason for most, but that's not always.
But
the
believe
case.
it or not, even with the interest rate going higher, people still, refinancing to lower their payments because there's many ways to do it, like paying some stuff off.
Sure.
Now you don't have no PMI. I mean, there's so many different ways.
Every situation's unique. That's why you need to talk to Elliot.
Exactly. Because imagine if you're able to accomplish that, and then when the market gets better, you can refinance that even lower, even more.
Yeah.
So